The New Zealand Gaming Championships League of Legends Premiership is presented by Letsplay.live, Australasia's new home of esports at Letsplay.live. Logitech G, bringing you winning gaming devices, mice, keyboards, headsets and controllers. Game with passion, win with science. Logitech G. Twitch, the world's leading social video platform and community for gamers. Twitch.tv. The NZGC is powered by Playtech. Technology at play. Playtech is the #1 custom PC system builder in New Zealand. Visit playtech.co.nz. Players stay at Adina Apartment Hotel at Britomart, Auckland. Book today at adinahotels.com. Adina, official accommodation of the NZGC. Now, let the gaming begin.
NZGC League of Legends Premiership. And of course, welcome back to the Hexadome. I'm feeling pretty comfortable standing here. My name, of course, is Matt Pixie Carroll, and joining me today is the second sexiest Matt in the Hexadome, Matt Smite Ross. I feel like that's a compliment. I'm going to take it as a compliment. But anyway, welcome back to the NZGC. We've got 6 teams, but only 4 weeks left of this competition where we've got the best players in New Zealand playing for your entertainment. And, well, we're at the end of the group stage. 1 more week to go with teams looking to lock in their points for the all-important playoffs. Yeah, and we're very excited to see how we shape up towards those playoffs. And, of course, to get there, we have to go through this whole week. So let's take a look at what this week is and how the leaderboard currently stands. So, first up, coming up tonight is the leaderboard King 5, taking on the very bottom, Decode Esports. Both teams looking for very different goals tonight with points. Then tomorrow night it's going to be DNA taking on the returning defending champions, the Villains. And then in our crossover featured matchup of the week on Wednesday on Sky Sport 3, playing live in the Hexadome, Too Easy taking on Tiger Eye. And with all those in mind, let's go ahead and take a look at the leaderboard. Because of course, like you said, different things in the minds of King 5. Code, because of course King 5 is currently sitting at the top, kind of want to widen that lead. 6 points Villains and Tiger Eye tied for that 5. And bottom of the table, DNA, followed by Decode, who are pretty keen to get some points to the board for themselves still, as well you can imagine. Honestly, because of course that is how seeding works into the playoffs. All important so that you can get the better chance to move into the all-important grand final. The grand final indeed. Of course, the rest of this group is going to show us how we're going to shape up towards that grand final. But that grand final is going to be, as you can see on your screen now, live at the Idea Collective event on the 12th of October. And of course, we're going to be there. We're going to have a few other people there. Definitely the top 2 teams are going to be there. So come along, watch some live esports. One of the biggest events in New Zealand esports history. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm pretty pumped with it. We've still got, like you said, 4 more weeks until we get there, of course. This week, last week on group stages. So from that point onward, we move into playoffs and our gauntlet situation. So, of course, teams, they can still kind of work their way in through the gauntlet. Still ways to get there, even for a team like Decode. And of course, you're not out after the group stage at all. Anyone can make it back in. So, with that in mind, should we have a look at some of the players playing tonight? It sounds like a pretty good plan. King 5 versus Decode Esports. And like we said, King 5, they kind of want to solidify.
Every challenge is a call to play smarter, to push further, to be better. That's why we put every aspect of gaming under the microscope. We are Logitech G. Gaming is our passion. Winning is our pursuit. Science is our method.
The New Zealand Gaming Championships League of Legends Premiership is presented by Let's Play Live, Australasia's new home of esports at Letsplay.live. Logitech G, bringing you winning gaming devices. Mice, keyboards, headsets and controllers. Game with passion, win with science. Logitech G. Twitch, the world's leading social video platform and community for gamers. Twitch.tv. The NZGC is powered by Playtech. Technology at play. Playtech is the #1 custom PC system builder in New Zealand. Visit playtech.co.nz. Players stay at Adina Apartment Hotel at Britomart, Auckland. Book today at adinahotels.com. Adina, official accommodation of the NZGC. The NZGC is brought to you by our incredible technology and media partners.
And of course, welcome back. Sorry about that, we had a few robot noises coming out of our end, so we had to go shut down our robots. And of course, now we are back. We are going to not waste any moments getting on into Pick and Ban. Before we do, though, we're going to take a quick look at who is playing tonight and where and how and why.
How and why, definitely very important. King 5, like we said before, taking on Decode Esports. Top of the table, bottom of the table. Let's see how this game is going to unfold. But first up, it's King 5. Raven is going to be in the top lane. Bill prowling around in the jungle. Shock is going to be your mid laner. And down in the bottom lane, AD carry is Kaio and support is Lil Decoy.
And of course, coming up against them is going to be Decode. These teams could not be further apart in points if they tried right now, but Decode, our all-star team consisting of Bodhi in the top lane, Poonie in the jungle, Shiv in the mid lane, Eco, Toxic and AD carry with Threaten as his support. And like we always seem to say, these guys have a lot to prove. I was kind of saying earlier, right, they could actually walk away from tonight not even getting a win and still call it a success if they come together a bit more as a team, because the better they're looking coming into the gauntlet, the better things are.
And that's, at the end of the day, all that matters, right? Exactly. Getting through that gauntlet, getting to the grand final, and winning it right there at the Motat in front of a live crowd of spectators. But that's the then. Let's look at the now. We're finally into the lobby with Champion Select going. Let's see those bans.
Shen actually being the first one to be taken off the board, taking that one out from Bodhi. You know what? I think Raven is looking to play a playmaker tonight. He's getting the tanks out of the picture. Nidalee being taken away from Bill. Malzahar off the table. Interesting one there. Yeah, I'm excited to see Raven on a carry. I think that's where this is going.
Yeah, no, that's definitely important, but I think touching back on the Malzahar ban, taking that away from Shiv, we've seen him play less mechanically focused champions. We saw Orianna in the last game, which relies a lot on wave clear and utility. Malzahar brings a lot of the same thing, so taking that away from him and maybe putting a focus in the mid lane might be on King 5's mind tonight.
Also taking Caitlyn away from Eco Toxic, so it actually looks like they're banning out quite a few siege tools as well. So King 5 maybe, like we saw against DNA on Wednesday, have a bit of a plan in mind, and Zillion, the last one out. Yeah, that says Decode have done their research. They're not going to let King 5 get away with what they did to DNA last week.
Yeah, someone definitely watched the Sky Sport matchup, because Zillion was a big key part of that, seeing a 2-carry threat coming up from King 5's lineup. But let's see how they react to that. They can't do the same thing without the Zillion. Maybe they can, but Zillion was a pretty big part of that.
Yeah.
But first pick, Karma is still on the table, and very often we see teams just snap at that one right up.
Really not surprised at that at all. I wonder if Decode are wanting to take the Sivir in response to that. Eco Toxic, he does play Sivir, he does, play a decent Sivir, but they have tended to prefer other AD carries anyway.
The thing about taking up Sivir, right? King 5 have banned Caitlyn. Caitlyn is very good against Lucian. Kaio is a very great Lucian player. And so he can play into Sivir really easily, even if Sivir's taken away from him.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Really, King 5 have actually put Decode in a bit of an interesting spot here. They almost don't want a first pick out, one of the most priority first picks right now, and could potentially leave it over to King 5. No doubt they're really tossing that one up in their comms for sure. But of course, they have something else to be picking up. And yeah, I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if they pick up that Rek'Sai for Puni there, because he really did. And actually, yeah, they're going to go ahead and take the Sivir. So again, two just priority picks. I'm interested to see how King 5 reacts to that. Bill now doesn't have Rek'Sai on the board. Already has Nidalee taken off from him. Does he just go onto the Elise, or does he go into the Gragas, I was going to say.
See, now this is kind of cool. We haven't seen Gragas in the NZGC, I think, even once, to be honest.
Saw him in the qualifiers.
Yep, no, we did see him then. A lot of the junglers, particularly Bill as well, like to play really aggressive junglers, and while Gragas absolutely can do that, it doesn't bring the most damage like someone like Nidalee, Graves, which Bill specifically has played a lot of. But Gragas can enable your laners so hard, and that's where we've seen a lot of power coming from King 5 and Raven, and also in the last game, KO.
For sure, and the other thing that Gragas kind of provides is just that general flexibility of what your team comp can do, which is exactly what you get out of Karma as well. You can look for fights, you can look for picks, you can look to just out-rotate and siege, and funnily enough, marrying into that equally well is Lucian, a bit of a generous. Not as much of a hot shot on the siege front, all things considered, but in any case, King 5, they just look like they're playing comfortable here. They want to keep their options open until Decode have committed to a strategy.
And of course, with the pickup of Lucian as well, really playing into KO's strength. Caitlyn wasn't on the table, so he's going into a really strong laning phase, because Lucian brings a lot of what Sivir can bring to the Lucian Karma lane. Because the ton of wave clear shove you into the turret, and importantly, when you are against Sivir, you're going to be able to match that wave clear. So very important to grab Lucian as well. And with Gragas on the table too, they've got great team fights for that early game snowball power.
Now, Decode are in a bit of an interesting spot here. They have to reveal either their mid lane or their top lane, knowing that they risk getting counterpicked. And let's be honest, you don't really want to give either Raven or Shock a potential counterpick to yourselves. I would like to see them pick up Thresh here for Threaten. A, he's really good on it, and B, I feel like it provides them a lot of safety and a lot of tools against whatever King 5 do end up pulling out. So, I like that. I'm interested to see what they pick, and it's going to be Ahri. That says a lot, and now I really want to see what Shock takes that. Also, it means they're going to wait until Raven has committed to a top laner and maybe try and look for something a little bit safer up there.
Definitely looking for a counter pick, but that last round of picks that we've seen from Decode, Threaten really loves that Thresh. One of his favorite support champions, and while not picked so much in the professional scene right now, it's comfort pick for him and can bring exactly what he needs, especially with Karma off the table. The Ahri, though, again, not seen a huge amount in the professional scene, but brings what Decode need to give to Shiv, which is wave clear and escape tools.
And they are looking to be a very pick-oriented comp with that Ahri being in there as well, just the ability to kind of avoid fights and kite if needed, and then only commit when you know you're going to get a pick, especially with that Thresh to help out. And I'm interested to see now what King 5 choose to go for. Now that they know what Decode have done, we were saying they were holding off to see what Decode committed to, and like I also said, they have to give something to Raven here. I kind of want to see him on a carry.
Oh, this would be brave indeed. We saw Kinsey pick up the LeBlanc. It gets locked in. Raven's going to go for that Trundle as well.
Trundle, I feel, a very safe pick there, but I feel like there are other things they could have gone for. I mean, yeah, he doesn't want to get counterpicked, sure, but it is really safe, and that kind of means Decode can take a top laner that marries more with their team comp. They're not forced out of any of the really good pick and fight top laners.
I'd love to see a Gnar picked up here.
For sure.
It would be one of the strongest matchups. Going into Trundle can bully him out of lane early on. Oh, is this allowed? I think this is allowed.
I don't think I think we're actually 1 week out of Yorick being able to be picked, so I'm guessing that's just a hover. It could well not be, actually. I could be wrong, and it could be that this is a strategy.
We'll get it confirmed.
Here. Yeah, we'll get it confirmed before long for sure. But in any case, like you said, I would like to see a Gnar here, actually, and I feel like that would work really well with the team comp. I wonder if that's maybe just a hover. Yeah, come on. There it goes.
He's listening to us.
Yeah, the vibe's being sent out. And yeah, the Gnar is going to be locked in. It just makes so much sense. A, for the lane matchup. B, for how it marries into the rest of this comp. Because like we said, there's actually good pick potential out of the combination of Thresh, Ahri, and Rek'Sai. Well, the thing is, now that they've brought the Gnar in and they've got the Sivir there, they are flexible enough that they can teamfight as well. King 5, I feel, can't do either of those things inherently better than Decode, and they're kind of forced a bit into a siege situation, which is difficult when your wave clear is LeBlanc and Lucian. So I feel like Decode have done a good job of outmaneuvering here, but they have a lot of questions to answer in the laning phase with these matchups.
Oh, and it's going to be a really rough one because very commonly King 5 just outlane their opponents completely flatly. Very similar to how villains play as well. They use their laning phase, snowball with the gold to move on into the late game and just completely carry from there with their macro play. But both teams are looking pretty strong to move into tonight.
Yeah, both teams. I'm really excited to see what they pull out. And like we said, you know, Decode tonight, success is just being better than what they've been in the past. Success is coming together as a team because that's all they've really had to prove here. They are all-stars that have been put together, right? So they could just go ahead and pull that out. They don't even need a win here. And if they do get a win, that's a bonus. And I feel like they've actually got the draft to do that. I'm going to draw a bit of attention away from that for the time being, though, because last week we had the privilege of catching up with Cupcake after a pretty important series. So Cam Crunch Russell had a bit of a chat with him, and we're going to take a look at how that chat went down.
A lot of controversy in the NZGC this week with one player in particular from the villains, the captain Dolphs, firing shots everywhere, calling multiple teams garbage. I'm here with Too Easy's Cupcake, recently promoted to OPL with Exile 5 in fact, and you guys managed to take out villains in their first loss in a couple of years. How did that feel?
I mean, it felt great, especially to answer all of their shit talk. I mean, the best way to do that is just to beat them and shut them up. So, I mean, it definitely felt good taking them out.
Game 1, you guys looked like you were coming out ahead. You managed to drop the ball and they came back. Was there anything in particular that going through your guys' heads to reset in Game 2?
Well, to be honest, every single game we snowballed pretty hard early. And it was just mistakes on us that cost us Game 1, and the rest of the games we didn't make as many mistakes. So credit to them for capitalizing on some of those mistakes, but really it was all on us. So yeah, we felt in control the whole time.
Yeah, I want to skip straight over to that Game 3 where you guys had such a bloodbath of a game, over 60 kills, 50 minutes. How was the tension in that game? Did you guys think you had it in the bag, or what was going on in your head?
Well, we thought we lost a couple times. We were always going to pull out the GGs, but no, it was a very back and forth game, and we just tried to stay focused for as long as possible and not let the emotions take control. But yeah, it was a great feeling winning that game.
So it's only fair. I'm sure you've got a lot to say to the villains. Have you got any comments there?
The only thing I was disappointed about was the 20 to 30 minute games. I think it should have been 10-minute wins easily. And I kind of feel bad for Kensti because he's trying to carry a bunch of washed up diamonds. But otherwise, yeah.
So you guys think you have what it takes to take their throne then?
Oh, easily, yeah. We're definitely confident.
So remember to catch all the action for NZGC this week live on Sky Sport 3 and Let's Play Live.
All right, welcome on back. Bit of an interesting one with Cupcake there. Kind of cool to get his thoughts on the whole matter. So we've got a couple more moments before we jump on into this game, and we're actually chatting a little bit in the break about how we feel these teams need to close it out. Because like we said, they feel kind of evenly matched in terms of their draft. We feel that Decode maybe have the slightly stronger pick and fight. So how do King 5 get the lead that they'll need to overcome that?
The great thing about King 5 is that they always have a very predefined strategy, which is get either Shoulder Raven or KO very ahead and allow them to do a lot of split pushing. Interesting to do it on the AD carry, but in this team composition, they have a Trundle for Shoulder Raven, and the rest of the team are very good at escaping and just honestly delaying the enemy team from recalling if they have to go back and deal with Shoulder Raven. Oh, sorry, just Raven now.
Yeah, it's just Raven.
So definitely going to be playing into that win condition of escaping and just wasting the time of Decode.
And we're actually also talking about, one of the two players you mentioned there was, of course, KO. And KO, it has to be said, does make some positioning errors. If he is the one you're trying to get ahead, that is potentially an exploitable weakness of his. And let's be honest, we know that Puni is a jungler who likes to commit, and this is a pick comp. If they can get the follow-up in there, then it makes it really hard for King 5 to rely on KO to be their carry. And Shoulder Raven is in a bit of an unfavorable matchup in his lane, so the question really is, where do King 5 try and pull that lead from? Because they do often rely on just their solo laning strength. Now, that may be enough to do it here for them, but Decode are not going to make it easy. I can guarantee you that.
Decode have a lot of kill potential just through their picks. They've got Thresh, they've got Ahri, just both skill shot, crowd control, and then you're ready to kill them. They've got the follow-up knock-up from the Rek'Sai. They've got plenty of damage coming out from the rest of their carries. They're looking great as a pick comp, but the Gnar is really what makes it into a team fighting composition. But it means they have to play so well with their communication, because letting your team know where your Na's rage bar is so crucially important to know when to teleport in and when your team has to back off.
Yeah, and I feel like really they're a pick comp that has the potential to fight well if a pick turns into a fight. If you don't quite finish them off and the team collapses, yada yada, often that's where things turn south for pick comps. But you're dead right, with the Na, that's less of an issue for Decode. So I like the safety they've kind of got there. It gives them plenty of time to just finish things out, right? I feel like a lot of this is going to come down to the vision control. And I mean, a lot of games come down to the vision control for sure. But
Always.
This is a flat pick versus pick. And we feel that Decode do the picking a little bit better, but you do need to have the vision control. Puni is a jungler that is good with vision control. We saw in their first ever match, he really went toe-to-toe with Dolphs in terms of vision control. Bill, on the other hand, he does have good vision control, but it's very Bill-oriented because he's used to being a playmaker. And again, that's potentially something Decode can exploit.
Bill definitely plays a lot for Bill, right? Which is going to make it very interesting now that he's playing Gragas, who, like I said, in Champion Select needs to play to his laners, get the opponents out of position and allow your laners to get kills. With Bill playing that type of champion, he's going to have to completely change his playstyle, play a little less greedy, and honestly match Puni's ward control, because honestly Puni's going to be in your jungle. While he might not be fighting you, but he's going to be tracking your movements, making sure you can't snowball your laners. So it's going to be on Bill to do that, particularly I think for Shoulder Raven in the top lane, because he needs to become a split push threat to really contest for the win condition for King 5.
I imagine as a counterpoint to that, we're actually going to see Puni moving a lot around the bottom side of the map. I really wouldn't be surprised to see that, because the bottom lane could potentially go either way, and we kind of talked about what Lucian does to Sivir in that situation. We spoke to that in Champions League when the picks were kind of coming out. I wouldn't be surprised to see Puni putting attention to that bottom side, but we will have all of that and more revealed as we hit the ref for Game 1 of this series between King 5 and Decode Esports.
Like we said earlier on, both teams have very different goals in mind with regards to those points. King 5 sitting right at the top of the table with those 7 points, just looking to widen that gap between themselves and the other teams. But Decode Esports just looking to gel better tonight as a team and maybe try and pick up some points as well. Classic Decode movement here though, all moving as a unit.
Yeah, this is what we tend to see from them. And it does give certain information away at times. It does gain certain information as well.
30 seconds until
and they have given information, because they're standing right on top of a ward. And interestingly enough,
it's being matched.
King 5. King 5 are totally prepared for this, and Decode have no idea what they're about to walk into.
Are the cheesers about to get out-cheesed here? Oh, they could be walking right into a trap. They've seen Poon ward. Okay, they're playing careful, which is great.
Didn't put a ward over. Normally when you go to the top of that Krugs camp, it's to get a ward in that far bush. They did not put one down. And King 5 know that. So, funnily enough, they know where Decode's wards aren't. King 5, they have done their homework about how Decode play these early games.
So, unfortunately for both teams, no one's going to get a cheeky little kill at the start of the game. It will allow Decode to actually spot out where KO is, so they'll know that the Krugs are going to be happening. They've got that ward down at the entrance to Gromp as well, so they're going to spot a little decoy out here, maybe get a cheeky kill here. He gets hooked!
He gets hooked! Oh, little decoy. Way too deep, way too aggressive, trying to pull that cheese, and he's trying to get to the water flash, knows it's not going to happen. First blood, going over to Eco Toxic. Nice one in the pocket for him, and actually, they're going to have a little bit of trouble getting back into lane now, because KO just kind of has to go in solo for a moment.
Well, luckily he's got a few moments to go while the enemy duo does go ahead and do that Gromp. But that first blood, it also went over to the AD carry. Ecotoxic's going to be quite happy with that. It's not going to affect the laning phase straight away because, of course, he hasn't gone back to base and spent that gold. But once he does, it's super important for AD carries to be able to go back and get that key item first.
Yeah, and Bill now just going to go ahead and clear up the jungle. Despite the early excitement, King 5, they are a smart team. They are a good team. They're not going to let it phase them. They're just going to try and play that bottom lane a little bit safer. Does kind of open up Puni's options, though, because we were earlier on talking about how Puni would probably play to the bottom side of the map.
And speaking of how Puni plays, it's actually Bill moving into the enemy jungle here. Yeah. He spotted him out of the Raptors camp. He's fighting!
Yeah, he's going for it. Going to lay down the early damage. Puni actually... he doesn't really want to commit to that fight, and Shiv was still level 1 at the time, only just got level 2, so he couldn't really come in for the collapse. Bill, all he's really doing is zoning here, but wasting Puni's time is still positives.
The mid lane matchup there is so important too, because like you said, Shiv was still level 1, Shock has been zoning him out since level 2, Bill is still here, he's looking to move in. I think the smite went over to Puni though.
I think it did. Puni is going to have to get out of there though. Bill... First of all, he zones Puni away from his buffs. Puni has not got either, and Bill knows that. Bill has got a buff. He's now going to steal one, probably get a 3-buff start for himself, and just totally muscled out Puni. We had some questions about how Bill might do on the Scraggers, but funnily enough, Bill is still playing how Bill plays.
Yeah, Bill's managing to make it work, managing to find a red buff steal as well. Puni's no way he's going to get there back in time. Bill still hasn't dropped down a ward though, so he's not going to spot him coming back in from the top side of the map, but he's got that ward near the Raptors. So again, it's Bill. He's tracking Puni's movements now, really importantly, but Bodhi, he might have the advantage in lane matchup.
Yeah,
he might be getting ganked here.
Well, junglers can absolutely tip that balance, and Puni can't really come in to help just yet because he still needs to get up to speed in his jungle. So Bill, he's not going to be able to commit to it. Bodhi, he's a little bit too safe in that lane, really. You know, it really is the flash, the jump. It's hard to gank a Gnar no matter how you slice it. And now Puni just going to go ahead, go back to clearing his jungle up. Starting to even up the tables with Bill now. So everything goes all quiet on the western front.
Well, Shiv going to lose out on the trade here. Actually, Shock taking quite a lot of minion damage. That's pretty important.
Well-timed charm. They're actually kind of had them coming off a little bit even.
So bringing it back as well, I mean, if you have a look at how King 5 have reacted to what happened early on, they've managed to catch up in the CS in the bottom lane. Shock is dominating CS in the mid lane. And, well, Raven, he's managing to stay even against an unfavorable matchup. This is the laning power that King 5 have brought out in every single game.
Here's Puni with the invade. Probably looking to go with a gank. Bodhi actually taking a lot of minion damage even in that mega form, but Raven, he's very far out of position. The flash knockup, Raven commits a flash, but the slow will come in soon. The frozen domain for the speed up, he's looking to get out, but he knows he can't. Nice moves by Puni, actually punishing Raven. Raven was going, I've been going even, I'm doing so well given this matchup, and well, it kind of bit him there.
And this is so good for Decode right now. Like you said before, their goal for the night is just to play well as a team. They're looking great in the early game. They're calling out the play style of King 5 right now. They're looking great, honestly. Raven, he's going to throw out that teleport to get back into lane, but Bodhi can do the same. He's even got the minion wave in his favor. So, honestly, he's going to be looking great and not missing out on very many CS when he does recall.
Yeah, Ecotoxic did himself recall a moment ago in his returns to lane with a serrated Dirk, so a bit of an item advantage there. I'm excited to see how they play this one out because Threaten brings a lot of kill pressure to this lane.
And also the fact that we were talking about how Ecotoxic would be able to recall, buy a great big item with his first blood gold, came back with less items than KO and is paying off here.
Oh yeah, this tether actually lands, but KO's committing a lot. There's the kill pressure from Threaten. The death sentence lands, and now KO and Little Decoy will be fighting among minions. The teleport is committed. It might have to be cancelled here because I don't know if Bodhi can find anything. He's about to go mega. They want to go for this. Threaten gets into position. The Flayer's there. They want to commit onto Little Decoy. He's going to blow a flash. Threaten using his own flash to get into position. And actually, KO was able to hold on to his own. Puni is here as well. They might actually just go for a dive here, or at the very least try and set up for a siege on this turret. They need to do it fast, though, because Bodhi, his mega will run out.
And they need to commit something because they've put so much into this. The dive is here. It's ready to go.
Oh, but they're committing onto Ecotoxic. KO knows what's coming, and they know that Ecotoxic is low and low on mana. They're going to try and get a collapse in, but they can't. Bill is miles away. KO's just going to try and turn it around on Ecotoxic. He knew he was dead either way. Tried to even it up. Did not pay off. Decode. They get one on the board there. Now they're looking to siege out this turret, pick up the initial demolition gold.
We are not going to see any laning advantage coming out from King 5 tonight. They're just going to... Decode are moving straight in to rip down that turret. Yes, Shock is still massacring in the mid lane. Bill's moving in to get deep vision where he can. King 5 are looking for trades, but they're still not worth it.
They haven't found trades yet. You're dead right. Raven is doing some work on that top lane turret, though. It is going to take Bodhi a while to get back there. I'd actually like to see him recall here. Oh, they want to go for a kill on Decoy first, though, and of course they are going to get one. It's 4 versus 1. The turret's not going to help you. Bodhi needs to back off, though, and get back up to that top side, or this is going to be far more even a trade than they really want.
And handing off that initial demolition gold onto Ecotoxic, giving him all of that gold bonus, going to try and get him ahead. Raven, he can't even get the turret. There's no teleport, so...
probably get in the next wave. Bodhi's not even back. He's stuck around. Oh, because KO came back to lane. Bodhi stayed in the bush and made a bait. That actually ended up being a smart move because now even if the turret goes down in the top lane, which I guarantee you it will, that's not even anymore for King 5. And there's more advantage to be gained in the bottom lane. But hold on, Shiv being committed onto the mid lane. He's going to be able to get out with a dash and a flash, and actually Bill blowing his own there too.
Oh, Shiv making it so worth it. Decode now, because of that commitment in the mid lane, are able to take out an Infernal Drake. Great for the team fights. Decode are looking great. They really fixed something.
Yeah, this is really smart because now the trade of that top turret isn't even, right? Now, yes, this is a bit of a CS advantage for Raven in that unfavorable matchup, but it's a kill for Bodhi. It's an Infernal Drake, and it's a 1k gold lead for the team at only 8 minutes, who are now 5-0 up. This is a very different Decode squad.
Yeah, so they do have to answer something in the top lane in the form of Raven. We've seen him become a split push threat. And we did talk about how that is one of King 5's win conditions to keep him alive. And the fact that King 5 are behind, they still have very mobile, escape-heavy champions. So they can still play to their win condition despite being a little bit behind.
That is certainly an option for them. KO finally going to be able to return to lane. He's got a bit of a rough time here, and actually they're going to go ahead and make the swap, and I like this change here, setting Ecotoxic and Threaten up top. They know that they can, they know that they might as well, and with a 2-0 lead, they don't really mind Ecotoxic getting evened up on in terms of CS.
And Decode definitely want to do this because they want to play to the top side of the map to get that Rift Herald. If they can get Infernal Drake and then the Rift Herald, they can put that pressure onto the top lane turret and also try and hand over the buff to Bodhi if he's nearby, but unfortunately
he's not so nearby.
Probably hand it over to Poon.
Yeah, well, actually that is an option. They can also give it to Bodhi depending on how they rotate this one around. Bodhi's having a bit of a hard time just defending that turret down bottom. He will be able to do it though with the cannon minion finally dying, Threaten getting some deep vision for himself on the top side, and Decode looking to make the proactive moves around the map here.
And one thing I've always liked about Decode is their ward control, but more importantly than that is going to be their kill pressure in this mid lane.
Yeah, this is what I was kind of hoping to see out of them. Big rotation. They're going to, at the very least, zone shock out of lane, even though they don't get a kill. Pooney actually needs to be careful here. Oh, takes a chunk of damage, and Bill is right there. They do have the Lantern to get out, and Bill does have the ultimate to displace him, so Pooney is just going to take the safe option, tunnel over the wall, get out.
The thing is, Decode are moving around, trying for things and getting advantages in lanes, but Raven gets to just push in the top lane. They need to make good trades where they actually get things out of it.
Yeah, I liked that move, but they needed to turn it into a move on the turret. They're not quite at that point in power yet, and they have given Raven more free time in that top lane now, and perhaps a bit too much free time. Bodhi is starting to get a little bit of his own in the bottom lane now. CS a bit even for the 80 carries, and now some attention to the mid lane. Bit of a different story with that CS.
I like how much Threaten is roaming. I mean, a lot of it has been with his team, but he's showing pressure in that mid lane once again. They know that it's a great goal because if they move there as a unit, Shock has risky wave clear where he has to get into close range. But Bill,
hold on a second, he's not been spotted out. Or if he has, Bodhi hasn't noticed it. He's going to get committed on hard here. Shiv gets Shock in the mid lane though, so this could just be a 1-for-1 as Bodhi goes mega. He knows he is a dead man, even with the big Gnar against the wall. He shouldn't really be blowing any summoners here, so he's not going to. Lets himself go down, but this might be a trade here. Decode might be able to get the turret off this as well.
They need to get the turret because Raven's still pushing in the top lane. He's there so
here comes
much free
Pooney to commit for the turret.
The turret is dropping, but slowly but surely King 5 are about to return.
I think it'll go down though, because even if King 5 return here, A, KO is behind them, and B, we've already seen how this 3v3 plays out. Decode win it.
Decode, though, backing off away from that mid lane turret, just effectively trade goes not so well for them. So unfortunately, that gold gap that they got,
1-for-1 kill.
That's a 1-for-1, right? Of course, got to forget that off-camera kill.
And actually, crucially, it does go over to Shiv, who up until that point was a little bit behind in CS. Now with the 20 CS difference, a kill is kind of equivalent to 20 CS. That comes off of it even. Yeah, Bill, he's still playing for Bill. He wants the kill pressure, but Pooney is playing for the team as he finds a little decoy. No, Pooney goes down, a little decoy flashes out right to the jaws of Bodhi, though, who is now trying to do work on both Bill and KO. He's a long way away from Mega. The rest of the team is here for the collapse, so they just want to back out. 1-for-1 trade, and Bodhi now forced to go to the top lane because, of course, we saw this last week, right? King 5, they will 4v5 and just let Raven do work. Decode need to not let that happen to them today.
So, is this going to be cheeky steal? Nah,
not quite.
So, a real cool part of how Bill did that, actually, is the fact that he's building Runeglaive on Gragas.
Yeah.
So, going really damage heavy, so we thought, playing...
Whoa! Pooney's actually found Raven here. Raven's not in a good spot, even though he's doing damage, because Shiver's going to come in. They've got Bodhi and Megaform for the collapse. Shock even taking a chunk. Pooney actually took maybe a bit more than he wanted, but in any case, good potential collapse. The ultimate committer there. Shiv needs to be a bit careful here for a moment, though.
Now, the explosive cask is down, but back to the point of the fact that Bill has been building so much damage, it's back to the Bill playstyle, right? Not playing that tanky, playing for the team Gragas. He's going to go for assassinations, and I really like that spin on the champion because it can actually bring both if played well. And Bill getting a little bit deep, but fortunately, dropping a little bit of vision of his own.
Yeah, both of these teams have really jostled for vision here, and currently Bill is actually coming out on top. There's no one to actually gank in this lane, though. Well-timed recall for Eco and Threaten, picking up that BF sword, among other things, and it means Bill is kind of going to find nothing for a moment.
Oh, but he is going to find the turret.
But
Puni
can
is
they really?
here. He definitely can't defend on his own, but he's got his
They've got
buddies
more
coming
people
up.
coming in.
But the turret's too low.
Yeah, it might have already just gone down by the time they get here, and Puni a bit too low to commit to a fight that his team collapses upon. So actually, they do find something there, and maybe a bit of an awkwardly timed recall out of Eco and Threaten.
And this gold gap is slowly shrinking just a little bit, second by second, because without kills on the table, King 5 have been outlaning their opponents. Let's have a look at where all that gold is going. A big advantage to the AD carry in Eco Toxic, which I think is very, very crucially important for Decode to win here.
Something that has also been going on during all this, though, is the mid lane matchup, right? Because Shiv can actually just shove and shot. So, Sean Connery is going to commentate this match. And can over time chip down that turret. That combined with ganks and moves to the mid lane means that Decode have plenty of ways to slowly chip out that turret, take it down altogether. And really you can't say the same for King 5. Now with the Dragon spawning, Decode have control over the pit. This is actually a dangerous one for King 5 to commit to. That being said, they can bring in a numbers advantage with Raven.
It's dropped down to half HP already, but the steal potential is there. Build with the damage. Build could steal it.
Oh, and he gets it and gets out. How criminal. The charm goes wide. They did not respect that at all. Did not have a ward over the wall. And now Raven's being able to teleport in. Bodhi, he's in the back of this one, though, so they might be able to go for a pincer if they want. Try to get the collapse in. Instead, oh, Bodhi actually gets pushed to safety. Out of that mega form now. He's going to wait for the rest of his team to arrive.
He still has flash, and his rage bar is going to be able to go up if he can just get near those minions, and that's going to be the key point for King 5 to back off. They know they can't fight when Gnar is about to go into mega form, but they're still looking to siege this turret down.
Stealing that turret was that dragon was very significant.
Oh no,
Eco! Base checking! Gets pillared up, the save might just be there though. Raven, he can't quite commit that much further, but Eco, he does have to get out of the fight. That means the rest of the team are in a 4 versus 5. Bodhi, not mega, half health. Puni as well, looking a little bit low. They have not got the return damage onto King 5. Unless they have incredible wave clear here, they are going to lose this turret one way or another.
Eco Toxic, out of mana, has to recall, but Shiv is still there. Still brings a huge amount of wave clear. Bodhi, with his rage bar almost full, can almost threaten King 5 away from diving them underneath the turret. I think this turret should hold, and that's so important for Decode to hold that, to keep their presence on that side of the map.
While this has been happening though, funnily enough, it's been Bill doing work up in the top side instead. And again, it's just the comfort that King 5 have, holding your attention rather with a 4 versus 5 while they set something up in a side lane. It does seem Decode are answering it a little bit better than what was happening earlier in the week against DNA. So Bodhi is going to be able to respond to that one in the top lane, maybe even start to even up a bit of that CS. And Decode, the lead has kind of disappeared a bit, but we talked about how they had a really, really strong comp in terms of the out-and-out pick. If these teams are even at 20 minutes, I feel like it still kind of goes in Decode's favor.
But the onus is definitely on Decode to make plays on the
Yeah, boy! And that means Raven can't claim that. Oh, wow. Bill did not commit the smite and he paid for it. Now Puni's just going to go, you know what? No one gets the buff. No split push for you. Real sneaky one. You can see how much they wanted Raven to have that split push pressure with how much attention they put to that top lane. Let's take another look at that. This is so cheeky.
Oh, there's not really a whole lot to talk about it. It's just Puni timing it properly.
Bill had smite. Yeah. He did not use smite there. Absolutely costing the team. Not a significant amount, but I mean, that's not a small thing either, given that that was time they were spending where Decode were putting people in lanes and actually evening up some of the CS leads King 5 had accumulated.
So, well, after a little bit of fun action there, Puni really bringing it back for his team a little bit. King 5 still looking to siege up this mid lane turret, and crucially, keep Raven pushing off in a side lane. He's got to be careful for Bodhi, though, who does have Frozen Mallet, which means he's going to be able to kite, going to be able to fight against Raven. So as long as they're keeping that answered, I feel like Decode are definitely going to sit ahead. Yeah,
that's the key one for them, and we've already seen Bodhi's had no issue zoning KO out of the fights. But that Frozen Mallet, it's even easier for him to do that. It's actually going to make it hard for King 5 to get those out-and-out fights. And Decode, they know that. They know they've got a moment of power here, so they're setting up for a siege in the mid lane.
And like I said before, the onus is on them because King 5 always look to push with their CS advantage, but the rage bar is full, the teleport's there, nothing for Raven. This is the time to fight.
It's perfect timing. They have the siege going slowly even if they just want that. And if King 5 try and commit to a fight. Bodhi can teleport in with that Mega Form that is about to run out, so they're going to try and go in for a wave clear at the very least, but Bill gets caught, gets knocked up, gets dropped down. Ecotoxic gets one. KO on the side trying to do work. The culling, only a couple of shots land, and now Bodhi has gone with the manual collapse, if you will, walking down the long way. Some low health bars, but this is still a favorable fight for Decode if they can get a good pick here.
If King 5 wants to do any sort of fighting, I mean, it might be now because there's no rage bar, but they are 4v5. They don't have the Gragas explosive cast to get people out of position.
Oh! No, but Shock is maybe too far forward, maybe even KO. No one's willing to throw out the crowd control to make it happen, though, as the charm goes wide. There was no death sentence to connect there, and now Bodhi off to the side. They actually don't have Ecotoxic, which means they're going to struggle to fight here. Their only damage really is Shiv or Bodhi. The turret is going to live, though, and that's kind of crucial because it means Ecotoxic is now going to draw away King 5's attention.
And he is looking to get this turret down, but recalling in its face, how rude. But he's got his team coming up to cut off the cut-offers in King 5, who are looking to stop him. He cancelled his recall, actually. Needed to maybe get a blast on that
Raven's the only one up there now, and King 5, they've only committed 2 people, whereas Decode have committed 3. This could be dangerous for Raven Eco. He's got very little mana, though. Raven's just going to take some damage. They're going to try and make this as hard to defend as possible.
I feel like right now, Decode maybe should look to recall a little bit. They need to enter the bottom lane as well. They've got a small gold advantage from that kill. They need to actually spend that gold. Although with Mega Gnar coming up right now,
I don't know. I feel like
they're not in position to fight.
Yeah, the wave was a bit far away, but I feel like they could have committed to a bit of a siege there and figured out a way to deal with KO. I mean, KO wasn't there for the fight, but King 5 kind of knew it wasn't going to be a fight. And it was a bit of a tricky situation for Decode. I think ultimately they've made the right decision in that they've made the safer decision.
Both teams actually making the safe decision and backing off there. A kill lead to Decode Esports, definitely showing that they're out for blood right now, and as they should be with that Infernal Drake and the better team fighting power right now, but just being outlaned, out-CS.
Oh! They knew they were going to commit, though, and threatened straight in with the Flay, keeping Shiv safe, who's gone ahead and dashed out, keeping his flash up. Bill using a little bit to try and get that one. The ultimate and the flash blown, so now Decode have a potential chance for a team fight.
And the team fight so important around the time of Dragon spawning up now. Teleport's ready for Bodhi. He needs to get that rage bar up and communicate it to his team. But
he can actually... Oh, this is great, because Bodhi can put pressure on that top side now. He's going to force Raven up there. He's going to build up the rage bar. Either they trade with a turret, or they commit both to a fight, and I feel like that's a fight Decode are favored in. And now they're going to collapse on Bill, who's trying to solo out this dragon.
That's so cheeky, but... in the end, just wasting his time right now, not committing it properly.
Bill,
now he's at half health.
He's not Nidalee. He can't solo dragons on this champion. You're right. Now he's on half health. We'll be able to sustain that back up a bit. Bodhi has just gone mega, though. So that is now off the table for them if they try and go for a fight. It's going to take a while for that to get back up.
But now that he's back in mini form, importantly, he can harass Raven underneath that turret. But the important thing is this fight in the mid lane with that turret dropping very low. They need to use their wave clear correctly, but Ecotoxic is the only one there to wave clear.
Yeah, they are actually maybe able to commit for a pick here if Threaten wants to throw out the death sentence, but they are aware that Eco can be bursted down. They're going to commit to it, trying to find Queenie to start it off. He does just get landed out to safety, and Culling is there, gets sort of absorbed, Threaten with a catch. They have a numbers disadvantage right now, but they stay safe, and that is crucial. The turret, though, is sure to fall.
And Shiv a little bit out of position, actually not there to save his turret. Cheekily getting a bit of CS in the bottom lane, but King 5 take a turret.
And this means they get all that control over that top side of the jungle as well with that Baron up. Bodhi, though, he is now mega. They want to maybe try and go for a collapse here. They're going to look for a pick. KO dashes away smartly. Oh, and now they might go too far in, but Shock. Oh, no! Shock is the one who goes down. Bodhi, though, the Narc goes wide as little Decoy flashes over the wall. Poon, a little bit split up from his team, but it looks like King 5 are going to have to back off from this one, as are Decode. And I was just about to say, Decode looks a little bit lost. They've lost a bit of proactivity. They've just found it again.
And now King 5, they don't have a whole lot of wave clear. Their best bet is actually Karma. KO doesn't have the culling, but King 5 are moving in for more damage.
To it. They're not really respecting the damage here. They're feeling that Raven or Bill can create a bit of a pick for them, but they need to be careful with it. Wave clear is there for Decode, but if Decode get too split up, they can get picked out, and that's what King 5 are trying to do.
And I talked about them not having wave clear, but then again, I forgot Bill's building full AP. So of course they're going to have it a wave clear. So walking away from that, Decode don't get any objectives. In fact, they're actually going to have to trade away the dragon.
Yeah, unfortunate for them. I mean, they got a bit of a favorable fight, but they weren't able to turn it into anything else just with the way it played out. And I feel like a bit of that came down to Shiv actually not being in the lane earlier. Had he been there, they would have had the wave clear to keep the turret alive. Could have maybe got a pick earlier. King 5 they really took advantage of their numerical superiority.
Things starting to slow down a little bit, but I think the key matchup to watch right now is, well, of course, it's the team fights, but importantly, Raven against Bodhi, how they manage those situations.
Yeah, Decode, they're in a bit of a position now where they need to start making those proactive moves. They look, for want of a better word, a little bit lost. They are a little bit ahead still, even when they've been even. They aren't the ones making proactive moves, and they're not quite able to take the extra things. So what is it they need to be switching up here? How do they put on gas?
Well, right now, they've got a lot of ward control currently. And I think they just need to pressure out fights a little bit more. They're a bit slow to pull the trigger, bring in now with that teleport. And the whole time they're doing that, Raven is off on the side lane farming, and half the time so is KO, getting farm on the AD carry, even more important. So I feel like Decode, they just need to be quicker to pull the trigger.
And that all being said, they are looking so much smoother as a team tonight. I think this is one of the first times we've seen Decode even with a lead, and this is against the top team in the standings. Decode, even if it all goes south from here, can call themselves a proud team, but they are also potentially on the cusp of starting to create an upset. I don't think I could have qualified that sentence anymore. Pixie, they might be able to upset here.
That they might. Honestly, it would be such a great feeling for them as well, taking down the top team on the leaderboard right now. They've had a few demoralizing runs so far in the first 2 weeks, but honestly, they're looking great right now, and this should be the confidence boost that they need to maybe even take this out for a win. I feel like they're in a great position to do it. The mid-game power from KO and Shock on that LeBlanc and Lucian should be wearing off, and they can move that teamfight power with Bodhi on Nah into a victory. They just need to out-macro King 5.
And even talking about that mid-game power spike out of Lucian, I mean, the items tell a bit of a different story because the Essence Reaver is completed for Ecotoxic.
Yeah, and it's always a key pickup. He's also 3-0-4 compared to KO's 0-2-1. Despite being 20 CS behind, that means he's still got more gold.
Yeah, this is not a position Bodhi wants to be in as he's about to go mini. He will be able to hop away and does not quite a flash. Puni's going to come in to try and get the save, but the barrel's there. Puni forced to commit a flash, and Bodhi might still go down.
The lantern!
Nice lantern. Choo-choo upon the Fresh Express as Bill gets caught. The flayer's there. The damage is there now. Puni is sticking to Bill. Raven, he's trying to stop them from killing his teammate. Hold on a second. A bit of a shutdown going off the side, but now Raven, he's desperate for a kill. He might be able to find Bodhi. The subjugate. It was not quite running, but the hit was enough. It's only going to be a 1-for-1. That is not ideal for Decode with Ecotoxic going down in the side lane. And they could have given him more space. Bodhi could have backed off. Decode really paid for Bodhi being too deep in that bottom lane.
Really trying to take an advantage out of being caught. Now the gold is evened up despite the kill still being so far behind for King 5. This turret is now under pressure. The mid lane is being pushed up. King 5 looking great, and here's the replay.
Yeah, we just saw what happened up at the top side here. It was Ecotoxic again trying to solo push. KO reacted, and Ecotoxic was just completely caught out there. The fact that he was A, caught out in that top lane, and B, nowhere near his team says that something just slipped up for Decode after playing so cleanly up until now.
And I was talking about it before, they have to out-macro King 5. And King 5 in their last week of matchups looked stunning on that front. Honestly, they knew exactly what page of the book they were on in terms of the late game. So it's going to be a real tough call for Decode, a team of all-stars, to match up against King 5 in that regard.
Game now dead even just about in terms of gold. King 5 have just been able to pull ahead. Decode are at a very strong point with their team comp though, and now moving as a 5. I may be looking to make something happen on this mid lane turret. They need to make it happen fast though, lest Raven siege out one in response.
Oh no!
Oh, it's hard to do that though when you get committed on, because Puni backed off. Ecotoxic gets committed on. KO, he knows he's spiking, he knows he's got the damage. They find Bill in response, but Shiv might die as well.
Oh, the Mega
Puni is finally here. The Mega Gnar as well. There's the slam! They get a little decoy. Now they're trying to find Raven, but they need to get the damage dealers. Who can deal with KO? It can't be Shiv, he's too low, and Ecotoxic is dead. The rest just don't have the damage. Bodhi nearly out of that Mega. Now Puni, a little bit split off. It looks like he'll be able to get out. They do trade 1 for 2, which is good for them, but without Shiv able to fight, they might lose a turret here.
So close to being an even trade there, but you're right, the wave clear is absolutely gone. 1 minute to go until Dragon though. King 5 have a choice. Do they siege down the turret, or do they get the vision control around that area of the map? I believe it's a Cloud Drake, I'm not actually sure, but any Drake right now could be an advantage, and it seems like King 5 are looking to move towards that.
I wouldn't even call it an
There it is.
either
Yeah,
or.
it's a
They
Cloud
can
Drake.
just go ahead and get the vision control, and that is what they're going to get. Very, very key for them. They come off, I mean, fairly even, if not a little bit behind in that fight, but they're actually the ones who got the vision control and got the map pressure out of it.
To be fair though, Decode walked straight into the area of the map that got warded and scanned the heck out of it and took down all those wards around the map, so great play by them. I feel like Decode have always played the vision game very well and consistently throughout the match, so definitely playing to their strengths right there, and it will lead into, well, at least an even battlefield on terms of vision around the Dragon.
Decode Toxic as well is going to be able to pick up the Scuttle Crab, get Lantern to safety. KO was sniffing around the area, nothing quite going to come of it, and with that Scuttle Crab in their favour, actually Decode are now the ones with the positional advantage over this Dragon. Pooney as well can get into position at just about any time using that jet ski. He's not using that skin, but he can come on in with that Rek'Sai screen.
There it is, the old mate Cloud Dragon. Team's looking to take out that movement speed
King
buff.
5 have committed straight to it. Actually, Decode aren't ready for this at all. They're not in position. They don't seem to want to be in position. They're just kind of clearing stuff. They've completely given this one away.
Yeah, just fully giving it away, but what do they trade for it instead? There is a top lane turret, which is quite low. The minion wave is there, but
thing is, if they move for it, they kind of lose all that work they were trying to do in the mid lane with that turret and could lose that inner turret.
they could look to hold the mid lane turret with Shiv, using that wave clear to stay alive, keep it up, and...
Oh, it's hard to stay alive though if you get picked out like that. And Shiv, the root doesn't quite connect, barely gets out. The Chandos go wide, but it's now not so safe for him to wave clear. That's all King 5 really needed. And Raven is pressuring the bottom side. They do get that top turret, but they need to get a little bit more to make it worth it. Now, Bodhi's actually getting collapsed upon. Eats a bit of the culling, but he's about to go mega. They might just lose this bottom side turret instead. Nice rotation by King 5.
But Eco Toxic is still pushing in the bottom lane. It's a Civ, so wave clear is there. He should be smashing down that turret, and there it goes. So they match 2 turrets for 1 while losing no kills.
Yeah, you saw that on the top right-hand side of your screen there. King 5 now going to try and go in for a collapse. Eco Toxic actually needs to back out really fast. He doesn't have the Thresh there to support him on the escape either. And if King 5 either force a fight or cut off the retreat path, it gets really hard for him to get out with the teleports committed from Bodhi. They might look for a fight anyway with Eco Toxic being the one collapsing. KO though, he's going to commit on Pooney. They can't quite find the pick to start it off as a hook goes wide. Decode. They're not going to find the fight. They are going to be able to back out safely for now, but it looks like both are still sniffing. They're hankering for a team fight.
Oh, this game is on a knife's edge right now. 1,000 gold lead at 30 minutes to Decode. Any team fight right now could swing the game wildly in either team's favor. It should all be around that Baron now that Dragon's off the table, but they're looking to siege down the mid lane turret.
And we talked about how that team fight could go in favor of Decode, but a lot of it revolves around the Mega Gnar. Bodhi, he's nearly at it, and King 5 know it. They have to back off, and that means they are going to lose a bit of the control they have in this part of the map, or they risk a really unfavorable fight.
So many wards on the top side of the map for Decode. I said it before, their vision game is on point, and their team fighting is looking so good this time as well. Mega Gnar is seconds away. If Bodhi wanted to, watch for Bill's ultimate though.
King 5, they're going to commit. They're going to try and go for it. Shocky wants to start it off, and they know Bodhi's going to go mega. So they try and zone out threaten, but that's not enough because Bodhi's on the back line with Shock and Little Decoy. Eco Toxic has arrived, and they've already found Bill. Little Decoy drops a double kill for Shiv. Big overcommitment by King 5. No respect for the Mega Gnar as a triple kill for Shiv. Decode. They are a brand new squad tonight.
And turning the game wildly in their favor. They're going to pick up the Baron. Bill's not there to steal it this time. Only Raven is alive. They could translate this into perhaps the mid lane turret as well. The minions are there. If they're very quick with the Baron buff, they could look to pick up even 2.
They absolutely could. A Baron power play to be sure.
Oh, Raven, no
He's
way.
He's going to commit a teleport. But with the Baron recalls, someone's going to stop that for sure. And there's still plenty of members. Actually, they're all going to have to recall because they're a bit low. He might get the turret here, but I mean, that's only something. That's, you know, that's a consolation prize. It was a misplay by King 5. They did not need to go for that siege. Let's take another look at that fight, though.
Honestly, it's all on Bodhi here, and Bill getting a little bit aggressive with his ultimate. It does bring out a lot of damage, but it doesn't displace the key targets. Now, just keep your eyes on Bodhi as he flashes into the back line of King 5 and gets out the key targets, Shock and Lil Decoy as well. And in fact, at the start of the fight, Bill, because he's not a tank, gets taken out straight away. And after this, it's just cleaning up the fight.
Yeah, Shiv getting a triple kill so key for him as well there. And like we were just saying, King 5 didn't really go for that. They knew that that's a situation where a team fight will happen, and they didn't respect the fact that they do not have the stronger team fight comp here flat out. When the gold is even, you can't go ahead and do that. They are not ahead, and it's actually looking like that's an unfamiliar situation for them.
There's one rule about the NAR club, is that you always remember the NAR. You always remember that mega NAR. You can't
right, like it was a fight club.
Yes, it was.
The first rule of, well, no, because the first rule of NAR clubs, you don't talk about NAR club.
No, but because NAR club's not fight club. It's a very different thing. But in any case, one thing
what a terrible reference.
I'm sorry, I messed it up, all right? Thanks for making it worse. But in any case, one thing to remember for King 5 is that Mega NAR. They need to be on top of that. You can't go tower diving when Bodhi's just going to jump on your backline and stun them all up against the wall.
I'll be honest, they don't even have the better siege comp right now. In a 5v5 situation, they are not the strongest side. Now with that Baron buff over on Decode's side, that is even more true than before. Bill is already trying to set up something. He even just wanted to clear minions with that, and they kind of can't. This turret might take a while to fall, but it will certainly fall.
And that rage bar ticking over, about to go. And now it's Decode who actually have the power to tower dive.
Yeah, and again, King 5 can't afford to fight here. They should respect that. The next minion wave will come in, and King 5, they need to accept that they messed up a fight. They gave away the Baron, and they're going to lose some turrets here. Otherwise, they're going to start losing fights and lose even more. And this is, yeah, there it is. Finally, King 5, understanding the reality.
Oh, he's got flash!
Oh, he goes for it. Bodhi wants to commit. They're going to go for the fight. They don't quite catch the early engage there. Ecotoxic is forced to retreat rather than lay out damage. They might have picked KO. They're going to try and go in, but they were shocked. And actually, Decode looking low. They didn't quite commit the right way. They didn't find the early catches. But Shiv, he's still cutting. He's still fighting. He looks for KO and finds him. That's a key one back on the board for them, even as Threaten goes down on the side. What else can Shiv find, though? Because it's already him, Puni, and Bodhi are looking really, really low. The rest of King 5, not so much. Decode actually struggled to start out what should have been a one fight.
And once again, it's on the other foot right now. Decode are the ones that know they've lost the fight. They need to give up a turret. Shiv can do what he can to slow them down. But honestly, back into that fight, Shiv played that really well, considering how poorly the engage came out. But the Blast is there!
No, Bill is not quite going to be able to go down. The caught with the charm, but the turret does still go down. And actually, King 5 turning it back around, just having a bit of a stronger team fight there. And it was purely Bodhi not quite catching anything with that NAR. They scattered to the four winds, and Decode did not look as clean as they needed to be.
Able to pick up a Cloud Drake, but Raven, has he stepped a little bit too far? Who's there to slow him down?
Maybe he has, but he does have Flash to get over that wall in just a moment, and this is going to secure a Dragon as well for the King 5 squad. It is still a gold lead here for Decode. They're going to catch Raven. That is actually kind of useful, because Raven has been a big split pushing threat, and now with the recalls coming in, there's a good window here for Decode to start putting some other structures into the ground.
There's no Baron, there's no Dragon, so if you're going to go for structures, you're going to have to start up a siege. The ZZ Rock portal there is slowing it down a little bit, but Decode are ready. They need to start grouping up. Teleport's there for Bodhi. Needs to sit in a side lane and start threatening it down. But in any case, they're not really taking advantage of that one death.
Yeah, let's talk a bit more about that portal though, right? Because that one death is the person with the portal, the person obviously looking to split push, the person who teleported to take down a side turret. Raven, I feel like he understands the team can't necessarily team fight and win all the time here. Even though they kind of got the drop on Decode in that last one, it was still a 2-for-1, and Decode still at the gold lead. Raven knows he has to split push, and Decode he knows that.
So it's back to the one thing that King 5 needs to remember, but this time, it's actually going to be Decode. They need to remember it. If the NAR engage goes a little bit wide, you don't catch any stuns with the Mega NAR, or just you miss everyone, right? You need to back off and be able to disengage. In that fight, they actually moved as a unit, which provided so much AoE crowd control from both Bill and also even Lil Decoy, throwing out that AoE slow. So really need to know when to back off out of a lost team fight as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I really want to credit Lil Decoy as well with how well he's been playing. Has really been looking for the routes to the right targets. Has forced Shiv and Ecotoxic into very awkward positions whole game long.
KO.
And yeah, KO actually might have found Puni here. Puni will be able to get out to a turret, actually, never mind. KO going quite far forward on that does mean Decode can start to maneuver into this mid lane a little bit.
And actually going to be looking for Shiv to catch out those picks. And Champion Select, we talk about their pick composition. While they've been winning every single team fight, they've still got Charm, they've still got a Death Sentence, and the damage to follow it up with Shiv. He's picked up his Rabadon's Death Cap. He's got so much AP. He's not looking to wave clear or maybe take down turrets. He's looking to kill enemy champions. I'm
so glad he didn't say Rabbit out of who does. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him round this out with the Zhonya's as well, just for safety's sake. Again, Bill committing the ultimate for wave clear. I mean, it's worked, kind of. Shipuni, he can't quite take the lantern, and they do try and commit to that, but this is just a really nice, clean disengage by Decode. Bodhi is actually putting the pressure on the Raven on the bottom side, even though he's a bit of a way away from Megaform.
He's getting flanked on, though. The rest of King 5 are looking to come in and help out Raven.
Yeah, Bodhi, he's got a jump out and potentially a flash. It's going to be Shock who tries to commit. Bodhi, he's a long way away from Mega. He can't commit. He throws the nut. Oh, he's going to try and turn it around. Shock looking for the retreat. Bodhi, though, he might just take too much from Raven, and the rest of the squad did not choose to collapse. Did not choose to punish Shock. Puni, he's not the right guy to do it, and by doing this, he abandons his team in the mid lane. King 5 shouldn't have been able to get away with that. Decode could have just collapsed, and instead, Bodhi dies. Now Puni's in trouble. They can't get the turret in the mid lane. Decode, they need to make something happen.
Or can they get the turret in the mid lane? They pick up a kill on KO underneath the turret.
I'd call it a liar here, because they are getting this turret. Puni is just wasting Raven's time now. Even without Bodhi, even in this numerical disadvantage, they might even get Bill here as well. Shiv getting that crucial catch on KO now. Bill right to the jaws of Puni. Puni picking up that one. Now Shiv, he's got the damage and the pressure. They might try and turn it into more. Oh, Shock commits to him, but that's going to cause death for him as threatened. Picking him up. It's not the person you expect to get the kill, but Bodhi is now nearly back up with a teleport. The numerical advantage is there, plus the wave clear, plus the damage of Shiva and Eco Toxic. This could easily be an inhibitor if Decode balance it right.
Bill and Shock are still miles away, but the health bars are dropping.
He's committing to Eco Toxic, but he needs to be careful in doing that. With that subjugate running, he gets charmed up as Bodhi arrives to the fight. He's going to zone off Raven as the turret goes down. Bill and Shock still away. They can't quite get the inhibitor here, but they get a bunch of picks, a bunch of structures, and they really turned that in their favor now. A 6k gold lead.
Key thing here is to drop wards around that Baron. That's going to be right on top of King 5's mind.
Look
at KO. He's sprinting after Eco Toxic. He's got the lantern.
Oh, he's out. Oh, breadth of a hair there. KO, he knew that vision was going to be going down in Eco Toxic. He knew KO was coming for him, so good retreat there. Didn't quite get all the vision they needed, but Bodhi will try and do some work on that front. And Decode, like we said, they are looking like a new team tonight.
Oh, Decode, this is going to be feeling great for them. Like you said, 6,000 gold lead. Bodhi has been playing pretty great, but you've got to give credit to the team as a whole. Really getting that communication down for when Bodhi can come in. Because you've got to work as a team to make a Gnar composition work effectively.
Yeah, and you know, I created a little decoy as well before, but I really want to put some props to Threaten here as well. He has been really, really good with his lanterns. He hasn't always been the guy creating picks with his hooks, but that's fine, because the hooks, even when they go wide, corral King 5. They force them to
Raven.
Oh, Puni, he actually can't really be the guy going off into these side lanes, and Raven does know it, and he is going to be forced to back out. And as much as Decode could still be doing some of these things cleaner, like I said, they are looking like a new squad tonight. They are playing so well.
And always on top of the vision game, always having more wards out than King 5, and I feel like that's really playing into their advantage. Now they can play around the Baron, Elder Dragon spawning up in 25 seconds, neither team looking for those objectives without winning a fight first.
Now, bit of a quiet moment at long last. King 5 enjoying the moment of breath there as they hand over their blue buff and red buff to the respective carries. And at 40 minutes, we're solidly into the late game. The respawn timers are long and split pushing gets kind of hard. So without that, what do King 5 really do to get into this game now?
They need to get on par with the vision control coming out from Decode, right? They don't have any wards along the river with the Elder Dragon spawning up. Baron will be on the table soon, but they also, like I said before, in every single second of this game, remember the Mega Gnar.
Yeah, they need to. One of the potential plays they could make is force a Baron Elder Drake trade, because the Elder Drake does favor them a lot, but they still need to win a team fight with that. Bodhi now flanking around the side, nearly with that Mega Gnar. That's the respect that needs to be given. It is spotted out with the vision, but this does force a retreat for King 5. This is almost certainly an inhibitor going.
They need to pull the trigger now, though. They need to force that teleport out of Raven.
Yeah, they need to just go for it. You're right, Raven is off to the side.
He's too slow.
Spot that before. Yeah, they can't go. The barrel's there just to try and spread the members apart, but it's not enough. It only really damages threat. They're going to force out a culling. Raven comes in from the backside. He's looking for Eco. Toxic, but the peel is there. Threaten, wasting everyone's time. Bodhi with the disengage now. They need to start getting some damage. They need to get some picks though, because all they've done is dented Raven, and here's not the right target. Here's too tanky. Purdy is still trying to do work, trying to set it up, but they've committed. They found Eco Toxic, and Shiv and Bodhi have had to retreat too far. Now Purdy, he is separated from his team. Even if no one goes out, oh, Bodhi dropping on down. Raven being able to create something with Plague, but no, Purdy, he's going to finish off this inhibitor. One-man army. At the very
he's got his ult to get out as well.
Yeah, he's going to at least get something back, and you're right, the ult to get out. He needs to use it now, though. Has he noticed it even? He's got the flash. He's trying to tunnel, but he can't. The flash is there. He needs the ultimate, but there is still a channel time on it. He can't get out of this one, and the work is being done. That bottom inhibitor was opened up. Raven is already there. KO's going to have the follow-up damage, and the death timers are really, really long for Decode.
Yeah, Puni has still pulled 2 members down to the bottom side of the map, and because of that, now King 5 can't actually finish the game. The respawns, they may be long, but they are short enough for them to respawn in time to defend the base. So Puni getting that inhibitor and drawing 2 members down there is key to keeping them alive in the game.
And that feels like a fight Decode should not have lost. Threaten was the one tanking up. Bodhi was the one peeling. And they needed to just swap positions there. But Decode, they still have a 2k gold lead. Inhibitors are actually even. This will be a Baron started off here for King 5, but I think the collapse can come in. Puni isn't up, but Bodhi is, and they can't.
It's too quick.
No, they can't, yeah. The Baron's just going to go down. King 5 get that one. And now they're the ones who can make a power play. They might be able to even this one up and start actually turning the game in their favor.
They're playing it out safely, though, throwing out those recalls to make sure they can get back in time.
Elder Drake?
They're in position to rush down the Elder Drake. It takes a while to kill.
I don't
and
think
takes
they're going to do it.
No,
It also got pinged out by good old Decode. They considered it too. Actually, no, it is going to be that. This is one that Decode can maybe react to. And in fact, I think they need to react to it because they can't afford to have King 5 sitting with a Baron and an Elder Drake.
Oh, but
King 5 know that.
They're hidden. The Mega Gnar's out, so if they need to team fight, they need to do it now.
They have to, but the vision isn't there really for Decode to force a team fight with that Mega Gnar. They actually have to go for a retreat. Now, Bodhi, they need to find something. They need to find it fast before he goes mini. The damage is already there. KO is untouched, and the team here, Decode can't go through the gauntlet as Puni drops down at the start. Now Bodhi is mini, and Eco and Shiv just can't get the damage on. They're so low, these members, but Threaten going down again. The one tanking, not the one peeling. Bill goes deep, and what? He lives! He lives through it all as the team gets wiped. Now it's only Shiv, and Bill somehow surviving through that. The rest of the team alive with a Baron buff, with an inhibitor turret down, and massive death time as King 5. They might have just flipped this game right on its head. They might even turn it back around.
There's no way Shiv can do it right now. King 5 are ready to take down, well, maybe the Nexus turrets, maybe they want to take down Shiv. But in any case, they've turned their eyes towards those Nexus turrets. 20 seconds until anyone is alive.
They need to do this work fast though, because 20 seconds is a short amount of time, but they are doing the work fast, and it is going to be King 5. Decode looking so shiny and new, but King 5, they have found a crack in the paint job, a bit of rust on the chrome body. Decode, they need to clean it up just a little notch more, but I'm so impressed by that performance, even as King 5 take out the win.
I mean, like you said before, right? If they play at least effectively well as a team tonight, they can take that away as a personal win, because at the end of the day, it's all about the gauntlet, the playoffs, and moving into the grand final. So they've played well as a team. They can still look to get a point back on the table, maybe even 3 if they take out the next 2 games in a row. And that will be great, but it's still only going to bump them up 1 spot. So they just need to continue that amount of play for the rest of the series and then take that valuable experience into the playoffs.
Exactly, and this is a team that has gone away and, you know, addressed mistakes, have tried really hard to come more and more together as a team, and they needed to. They needed to more than anyone else. This is not a challenge the other teams have had to face. Decode, they've risen to that challenge, and now they're starting to see payoff. And like I said, they have gone away after games and changed things that weren't working. Maybe they'll be able to go away and even change some of the things that weren't working that game to bring into Game 2. And I'm really excited to see what they bring into Game 2. We will join you in that Game 2 in just a few moments, though. Don't go anywhere.
Every challenge is a call to play smarter, to push further, to be better. That's why we put every aspect of gaming under the microscope. We are Logitech G. Gaming is our passion. Winning is our pursuit. Science is our method.
welcome back. Thank you very much for holding tight, or maybe you didn't. Maybe you went and got a sandwich. In any case, we are now, as well you can tell, joined here by Cam Crunch Russell, who is going to help us break down what on earth we just saw. So, Cam, Decode started off really, really strong. It didn't quite come through to them, but they're certainly looking like a different team. What was going right for them?
All right, so we saw at the early game, they really just put so much pressure on the tower instead of the dragon. They've had typically very good early game dragon control, but that wasn't a priority with the current patch. Now that we saw them going for that bot turret into an infernal dragon, that gave them the start that they needed to really start pushing it.
So then King 5 able to turn it around. From our perspective, it certainly seems like Decode slipped a bit in a couple of those team fights, but King 5 did still set themselves up for that. So what from that can King 5 take into this game to maybe get a more favourable early game?
Well, we saw it against DNA in the exact same way that King 5, they don't really care about the kills, they care about the objectives, and they really got those side lanes going. Trundle was able to respond with a nice Zezirot on the side, and I think if they can keep that the side lane pressure up against Decode, it's really going to get the communication errors which are going to really help snowball King 5 through there.
And it's actually a sign of a lot of the top teams in the tournament so far, right? They always end up really out-CSing their opponents and even just outlaning. While outlaning didn't specifically happen in this game, they still had CS miles ahead despite a first blood going over to Decode and despite losing turrets. King 5 still managed to keep ahead in the CS so strongly.
Yeah, and he mentioned that as being a bit of a hallmark of these top teams. But of course, one of the things crucially for Decode isn't necessarily getting wins. It's just coming together more as a team, maybe emulating a bit of that play style. So given that they're kind of on the cusp, what can they maybe do in this game to close out the win? What can they change between these two games?
I think Bodhi's teleport is going to be very, very important here. We're seeing him a little bit hesitant to come down for that first teleport. If it was a couple of seconds earlier, it could have been a double kill, a faster turret, faster Infernal Drake, and then actually be able to save the top turret in return. So less hesitation on the rotations, as well as just be a bit more aware of those side lanes before you start pulling the trigger there.
So on the flip side of that, King 5 probably be coming into this with a bit more respect for Decode. What did they need to change up? Because they were losing for most of that game. That has to be mentioned. What do they need to change?
I think there was quite a bit of miscommunication on Bill's positioning when all of that was happening. There was no real response from him. He was up in the topside jungle farming Gromp while they were diving the Karma and Lucian in bot lane. And there was no attempt to push down the top turret faster. Maybe if he rotated there, then it would have put them in the position to get that initial demolition, which could have swung it back the other way.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Smite? What does King 5 need to do here?
I feel like Bill playing Gragas is just a little bit at odds with his playstyle, right? Like we said before, he plays a lot of Nidalee, plays a lot of Graves, really aggressive, damage-heavy carries, and he still even tried to build Gragas that way. And a lot of the early team fights, he was blown up as soon as he got straight into the fight. Later on, he was surviving a little bit more with his tanky items, but just dying immediately because he had to go fully into the fight. He needs to find a different champion or a different playstyle to really affect his team a lot more.
And to speak to that, of course, like you said, Bill really likes those carry junglers and looks a bit lost when that Nidalee was taken off the board. So what are some of the things these teams need to take into this pick and ban, given that last game?
Right, well, I definitely think Bill does need to play to his strengths, as you said. He was blown up really early in that, with that build being so AP-oriented. So this time round, if he's going to be on a similar sort of aggressive jungler, you've got to have a little bit more mobility, such as that Nidalee or maybe even Rek'Sai, to be able to get in and out of the jungle a little bit easier and stop forcing those engages.
Yeah, no, it's Bill also forcing engages. I mean, it feels like we're really throwing Bill under the bus here. But Bill did force a few engages, particularly when Mega Gnar was just coming up or was just ready to go. It was a key fight in the mid lane where it was just clearly the whole team moving in as a whole, but honestly, Bill needs to work on communicating with his team and also looking for, if Gnar's picked again, watching that Mega Gnar rage bar, but maybe they can pick it up for themselves and use that to their strength.
Yeah, so certainly some things to be considered for both of these teams in this pick and ban. We will be joining them there in a moment, but first, let's take a bit of a quick look again at these teams' lineups to remind ourselves just who is who.
So as we said before, it's King 5 taking on Decode. Decode really playing a whole lot better than a lot of people were really giving them credit for. King 5 still top of the table. Let's have a look at the Raven in the top lane. In the jungle, it is Bill. Shock is going to be in the mid lane. And in the bottom lane, 80 carry for KO. And support is Lil Decoy.
Yeah,
Oh, there we go. Well, we talk about that bottom lane as being a real big strength of King 5, of course. And coming up against them in Decode is going to be Bodhi up in the top lane, Puni in the jungle, Shiv in the mid lane. Breaking the 4-letter rule is Ecotoxic at AD carry, and his support will be threatened. And we often talk about Shiv as not necessarily being a weak link, but certainly a bit of a thinner champion pool member here. He really showed up in that last game, so I'm excited to see what he gets in this next round of pick ban. So, any final thoughts on this, Cam, before we say goodbye?
Alright, so Decode have got that early game sorted. They really need to focus on that mid-game pressure, side lanes especially, get those outer turrets and rolling a bit better, be able to react, and then force those teleports that need to be a little bit quicker and on point. Alrighty,
well thanks very much, Cam Crunch Russell, for joining us to really figure out what on earth we just saw. We're going to go ahead and jump right on into this pick ban. Well, we can see Zillion has already warranted a ban again, Decode respecting what King 5 can bring out.
Yeah, still keeping that off the table. A reaction ban is going to be Shen, which we saw coming out in Game 1. So nothing different so far. No reactions to Game 1 and who you're going to ban. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little more targeting at the top lane. And there it goes. Trundle is going to be taken away from Raven.
Shen as well off the board. You know, really prioritizing taking that one away from Bodhi. I have to say I agree with that to an extent, but it has ended up thinning out the champion pool with that Trundle going away. And you can bet that Decode, again, are actually going to be kind of comfortable taking that Nah.
Yeah, teams are going to have to start making a choice here. Do they continue banning out against the top lane? Do they look at the bottom lane once again, like we saw
King 5 from Ecotoxic?
Yeah, King 5 did it in Game 1. They're going to do it again. This is leaving a few more mid laners open, and if the bans continue that way, they're going to leave a lot of junglers open too.
Well, the other thing to note here as well is last game with how the pick ban fell, King 5 were able to pick up Karma and kind of force Decode onto picking the Sivir into the Lucian, which KO is so comfortable on. That can't happen this time around, and Decode were already comfortable enough with that, so even banning out the Caitlyn might not mean enough, because they can be the ones to pick up the Karma or even the Sivir, or both.
Banning away threatens Thresh.
Smart call.
That's so cruel, because he loves that champion.
But
first pick opportunity.
Nidalee's on the board.
Yep, Nidalee is on the board, and it's first pick over to Decode Esports, so they could take it away, but Puni, he just... I haven't seen him play that champion very often, but...
I do like that, but the moment they take that away, they leave open both the Karma and the Sivir. I nearly said Zillion.
No, Zillion definitely...
Oh!
It's the Quininator.
On Quinn.
Now...
Unless this is a placeholder. This could be a placeholder, but it could also be a Quinn. And
let me tell you...
the rat. Are they going to do it again? No, they're not. They're going to go ahead and take Karma away.
Let me tell you why I think that's not a placeholder, right? Bill played this champion a lot in the NZGC back in December, just after the preseason changes happened. Of course, a few balancing changes have come around. Quinn not quite as strong, but of course, Bill loves that champion in the jungle, has a huge amount of mobility, and look who he's paired up with. He's got that Karma.
And it's exactly what he likes to play. Those carry-style junglers, ones who create picks, kill people at the start of fights to create a numerical advantage. He's not about crowd control or any of that namby-pamby playmaking stuff. Decode now, I think they kind of have to take the Sivir away here again, and that does leave KO his Lucian. They seem comfortable with that though, so I'm curious to see what their support pick is. I would like it if it was a Braum.
Yeah, Braum. And picking up the Lucian as well. Or they can take the Lucian
themselves and leave the Sivir Karma open.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's pretty smart, right? You get the synergistic duo lane with the Lucian Braum. Yes, you're giving away Sivir, but the kill pressure is there. And like we saw, Decode, they were losing out on farm, but they were winning out on kills. If you're looking for kills, Sivir and Karma is not the duo lane to go for. So Lucian Braum, a lot of power, along with that Nidalee as well, with the duo locking them up. And if Puni is going to jump in for some damage, well, he's going to have all the crowd control he needs to back him up.
King 5. Now in a bit of a situation, the same situation in fact Decode were last time. They have to pick either mid or top, and one of those will get counter picks, no doubt. And an Echo, the most flexible thing they could choose. I like that as a potential pickup here, because do you counter it for the top lane or do you counter it for the mid?
The thing is, in professional play, you can almost definitely assume that Echo goes in top lane, but so far in the NZGC, a lot of players are just so comfortable playing him anyway.
Oh, and with an Ezreal, this could be a mid Ezreal and a top Echo, or it could be
a mid Karma.
Yeah, well, it could actually be a bottom lane Echo a bottom lane Ezreal with a mid lane Echo. They both start with E. It's a bit tricky. They're also both young men, right? There are a lot of similarities between these champions. Forgive me.
I think Echo is quite a lot younger than Ezreal. I mean,
guess
he
probably.
could be timeless though, so who knows how old he is.
He's actually like 104.
Maybe. But in
He's
any
going to
case,
be a boy for his entire life. He's like the Peter Pan of League of Legends.
what it's likely to be, as I move away from Peter Pan, is going to be Echo probably in the mid lane, because I believe we've seen Shiv play it. It also allows you to counterpick out. Sorry, not Shiv. Shock has played that in the mid lane. It allows Raven to get the counter pick. And oh my goodness, we were actually talking to Crunchy about this before.
Yeah.
He believes
Lux.
Lux is quite strong
No, Lux
right now.
is very strong right now. And the reason I like Lux is they're basically going, we're not going to bother trying to counterpick what you're doing. You're clearly trying to hide picks. We're just going to take something with good burst, with good wave clear, with safe distances, balls in your court, King 5. And what are they going to pick to round this one out? Because whether it's a top laner, a mid laner, or an AD carry that they do need something with a health bar.
Something that worked quite well for Decode would be that Gnar again. King 5 could pick it up. It's still open. It works well into
No way
Maokai.
is this going to be a Mundo.
Oh,
No way.
I kind of hope it is.
It's not going to be.
That could be Echo on the top
Oh,
lane.
it is a Syndra. Wow. This is...
Curse of the commentator. It's not going to be an Echo mid lane. It's going to be in the top lane.
An Echo top lane. So this is the more standard thing you'd expect. But like I said, this means King 5 have a really squishy squad. First of all, they can get blown up by a Lux. Second of all, there are 2 tanks on Decode. Thirdly, you've got Puni on Nidalee who can abuse those squishy champions.
Now, I believe this was really similar to one of the first matchups in the NZGC. I think it was King 5 against DNA.
It was definitely King 5, but you're
King,
right.
King 5. They played a team of almost entirely squishies, similar to their lineup right now. And they just steamrolled through them because they had a whole lot of tanks. We talked about how if the team of squishies can play very well in the early game and get their own snowball rolling, they can pull ahead. So we'll see if that's what King 5's strategy is going to be this time.
Yeah, a lot of questions around this one. And you're right, actually, you've reminded me of that game where King 5 went with something very, very squishy. I feel like this is potentially abusable by Decode. And actually, last game, like I said, we saw Decode getting a bit of a lead. King 5, this is a really, really confident draft. But I don't know how warranted that confidence is right now. If they'd done this last game, I would have said, yeah, the confidence is warranted, right? Top team versus bottom team. But last game has raised some questions, not about a weakness in King 5, but about a strength in Decode. And like I said, I could easily see Decode having gone away and really bumped up that strength. Smite, though, what are we going to look at now?
What are we going to look at? Well, let's have a look down here at our little schedule, because he's throwing me under the bus here.
I'm sorry.
We're going to have a look at Arcadian. He's got a little video for you about Poke.
Powered by Playtech.
Hey guys, my name's Arcadian and welcome to How to Play League of Legends, where I walk you through the basic concepts around one of the world's most popular online games, all so you can get a piece of the action. Now this time we're going to be looking at something called Poke. And so in League of Legends, poking is almost exactly what it sounds like. It's a little bit of a poke, a love tap. The poke is to get some long-range damage off before any fighting starts. Think of like poking a bear from really far away with a really long stick. The purpose is to get the enemy low and maybe get them to use some abilities or some resources to keep them ready to fight. Now the reason people poke is to build pressure on your team to force them to make a strategic decision, to fight or to flee. If they continue to stand around and get poked, eventually they will lose out if they can't dish out some poke of their own. And so they need to either choose to engage and fight before they get too low, or get out of there and recover, leaving the objective open for the taking. There are particular champions in League of Legends, or heroes, who are extremely good at poking, and some teams choose to build their entire team around the concept of poke. Remember when I said that they have to choose whether they want to fight or flee? Well, if you have some other champions on your team who are designed to punish people from jumping in and fighting, or alternatively who excel at taking different objectives if they're left unattended, it can be an extremely rewarding and difficult strategy to play against. But that's all for now. And so thanks for watching, this has been your teacher Arcadian, and until next time, as always, Arc out!
welcome back. And sorry, what's next? Never mind. We're going to go ahead and jump on into game in just a moment here. Before we do, though, let's just have a quick recap of what these guys' win conditions are.
So looking back at the team compositions, right, you've got a Lux, which shows a lot of wave clear, a lot of potential threat, especially against a team full of squishies underneath turrets, right? So if you can get the siege rolling, then you can absolutely push that into a win. You've also got a Nidalee in the jungle, Puni playing that. Now he's got two choices to go with that in his playstyle. He can get the Lucian snowballing for Ecotoxic, or he can match Bill's movements in the jungle. Bill playing a squishy jungler of his own on that Quinn. If Puni, like we so commonly see him do, moves into the enemy jungle and just harasses and fights, and at least tracks the movements of Bill, that can also push Decode into a victory.
So it absolutely feels like in order to win this one out, King 5 need to get a bit of an early lead, because they have got a lot of damage-oriented and snowballing champions. You know, everyone on this team is a glass cannon, really. So how do they do that? How do they need to snowball this early game?
So, of course, like you said, they've got a lot of squishy players. Echo might be able to survive a little bit later on in the game, but I'd like to say that Syndra's pick potential actually almost matches Lux's safety range. So you can throw out that stun. You've got a lot of damage to follow it out in the form of Ezreal, and well, you know, we'll also get onto the poke that he brings out, which will Arcadian actually help us out.
Now that we know what that is.
Yeah, now that we finally understand that concept. They can definitely build into that, right? Because again, it ties into Siege. When you put threat underneath turrets with the pick range from Syndra and then the poke damage coming out from Ezreal, and then you've got escape potential from Karma, they can do a similar thing. I feel it's going to be a battle of the junglers.
So with that all in mind, we're going to go ahead and hit the ref for Game 2 of this potential best of 3. Though questions about whether we'll get to a Game 3, of course. Decode. They are looking like a much stronger team tonight than they have ever been so far in this tournament. King 5, though, they are still the ones who got the win, and they are still at the top of this table.
Both teams are really different at the start of this matchup. Last time we saw them all moving as a unit, looking for cheeky kills at the start, but now they're going to get that vision down on every entrance of their side of the map, keep themselves a little safe. I mean, Decode are on their last legs in this series. They want to bring it to Game 3, and well, King 5 with a team full of squishies, you don't want to walk blindly into enemy territory. So both teams playing it out quite safe, but particularly against that Braum at level 1.
Yeah, always the right call for sure. And even just the Braum-Lucian synergy. I mean, we talk about it in lane, but at level 1, you're right, it's so powerful. It's a pretty much guaranteed pick, and then you've got Lux who can follow it up. Basically, don't trifle with Decode at level 1, not with this lineup.
So, like I said before, it's going to be a battle of the junglers. The pathing is also going to be just as important as how they move. Are junglers going to go in and steal buffs? Are they just going to go for an efficient clear? Are they going to farm up? Because Bill, he needs to get to that level 6 to really have an effect on ganking. Because, of course, really needs to get that ultimate so he can move into the lane as quick as a falcon.
So the other question around this is actually Puni on Nidalee, because we were saying in Champions League he could steal it away from Bill, but we haven't seen a whole lot of him on Nidalee. That being said, pretty much every jungler in this tournament likes Nidalee and knows how to play Nidalee. So as much as we haven't seen Puni on it and there's some questions about that, I think we can be confident it'll be a decent showing.
Definitely practiced a lot in solo queue. Had a look at him actually, playing that champion quite a bit. Poon, honestly, got to watch him in the jungle. But as we've seen in almost every game King 5 have played, they've always had a lane advantage in that CS. Watch for it now. Even if Decode get a few kills, King 5 might still be ahead in CS.
Yeah, and I think one of the places we'll see that a lot is going to be the top lane. I mean, even just Raven, as much as he's a melee champion, he has a good way of farming at range, and you can already see he's shoving in the wave as best as he can. Bodhi, on the other hand, it's going to take a little bit of time to kind of get going as this tree. It's just hit his level 2, and it's going to be a bit tricky for him to stay even in CS if it keeps crashing into the turret like this.
Yeah, but cleverly, he's holding it there. Actually going to get that one. Yeah,
nice.
Gets it. Yeah, gets it. Timing the ability as well.
And nice now the winning wave is there to save him.
Nice little micro commentary there from us, keeping things all on the page there. But in any case, already have a look at the mid lane, right? Shock is pushing in, he's keeping a CS lead, and we saw this at the start of game 1, right? He got a level advantage very quickly. You see 3-2. Shiv doesn't have the damage right now to contest against Shock and trades, and Shock just has as much range as he does. He can keep him underneath the turret and make it so much harder for him to farm.
Quiet moments in the early parts of this game. Ecotoxic and Threaten actually getting a little bit zoned back, but the CS is fairly even as the waves meet again. And they will be able to at least stay fairly even in this game. They need to not take, excuse this one, they need to not take too much poke damage here though from the Ezreal Karma. Puni and Bill both around that side as Puni looks like he's going to be able to take the Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, Puni had Smite and Bill didn't. He's going to get a bit of damage onto him, but he...
actually Shock is here. Bill, he's actually got a bit of a move speed buff there. Puni did take a bit of damage, but he's got a self-heal. Shock actually finding Shiv on the collapse.
Getting Thunderlords as well.
Yeah,
pretty important. Just smashing him out on trades.
Yeah, a bit of jostling all in all, but it certainly feels like King 5 are the ones with the bigger health bars right now. Bill did take a turret shot there, so I'm kind of caught a liar.
Curse of the commentator, right? You say one thing and then the players do another thing.
The moment you say it, you're proved wrong.
Yeah, well, now as we turn our eyes to the bottom side of the map, Ecotoxic and Threaten are cowering underneath their turret. They've lost out on so many trades, and we talked about poke damage. Well, it happens in the laning phase too. KO and Little Decoy on that Ezreal and Karma can put the damage on you from miles away.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. Bit of a scuffle in the mid lane, no real kills there, nothing quite came of it, and Bill actually taking a turret shot. He sort of wandered back into the jungle, nice and safe.
Yep, in any case, we'll turn our eyes back to the top side of the map, and a slight CS lead for Raven. He's going to be holding that, like you said, has that ranged ability to farm. But honestly, the real story, hang on, he's going to go for the parallel convergence.
Yeah, they want him to try and make it happen. Bodhi, though, is a little bit tankier this time, and Puni is moving up towards the top side. Raven does still need to respect the minion damage, but Bodhi might just be a bit too low here for a gank to really mean anything.
Bill miles away.
Yeah, Bill miles away at not 6 yet. They're going to commit onto Raven. Puni is the one with the damage. Bodhi might just die though. The flash is there. Raven, he's overcommitted now. Puni might be able to clean this one up. Raven, he does not have a flash now. Puni picking up the first blood there on a knife's edge, but Decode walk away with a kill in their pocket.
And Bodhi feeling calculated there, making sure he had at least 1 HP to get out of there. But look at this bot lane. Ecotoxic and Threaten are threatened away from their turret.
That being said, this is somewhere Bill could actually move and try and make a dive happen. He can't because he's in the top side. This does force the bottom lane back. They've taken too much poke damage. The turret does get chipped away at, but luckily for Decode, King 5 can't quite turn it into an even worse situation for Decode.
It's the same story as Game 1, right? The first kill goes over to Decode Esports. They're looking pretty good in that sense, but the gold is only a small amount ahead, right? The CS lead is in the mid lane, in the bottom lane, and by sizable amounts this early on as well.
Yeah, about 10 CS in both of those lanes. Plus with Ecotoxic and Threaten having to back, there's the chance that it gets even wider. Bill now is moving towards that bottom side, and might just be trying to get a bit of vision control over this dragon. Like Cam said, that's actually something this Decode squad often prioritizes, the early dragons.
Yeah, we'll see if they do that. Puni actually picking up the first blood, so he can bring that gold advantage for him down there. He's going to be able to get his own raptor, his alpha raptor. What is the big one called? The alpha raptor?
I think it's just the big raptor. It's the one you smite.
It's the one you smite. Well, in any case, he's not going to have that stolen away from him.
Have you ever smited a small...
Okay, yes.
Like, just to show who's boss?
Yeah, no, you would commonly do it back when they were the raids. You'd walk in as, like, I don't know, Cho'Gath mid or something, running smite, and then smite the little raid just to show you mean business.
Bit of a skirmish in the top side. Bodhi's actually starting to do a bit of work here.
Whoa! Puni! You're gone!
Puni, what happened there? Bodhi actually getting a bit of an advantageous trade in the top lane, but King 5 kind of put one back on the board. I'd love to see if we can maybe catch a replay of that one, but in any case, yeah, here we go. We're going to be able to take a look. So what on earth happened here?
Alright, well, it looks like he was just trying to clear out the bush, but flanked by both.
Little Decoy, that's the key one, had actually roamed up, and with that extra damage, they were able to close that one out. Shock did commit the ultimate for that.
And the key thing was
to respond somehow.
Also that, well, there was a path of wards tracking Puni, so that's how Little Decoy knew how to get up there. So really beating Puni at his own game. That vision control.
Oh, okay. I thought the game was League of Legends.
Well, it's not. League of Legends isn't Puni's own game, right?
They killed him, so they did beat him at it.
All right.
They haven't won the game yet, though, so it's hard to say who's beaten who, or even who is beaten who, as the game is almost dead even in terms of gold. And we actually said Decode, they just have a bit of a stronger late game unless the snowball is there for King 5. Well, even gold, a snowball does not make, so King 5 need to start making some proactive moves to get more on the board for themselves in the next 5 or so minutes.
Definitely needs to be a bit of a focus on either tracking down Bill or going to the bottom lane. I said it in Champion Select, it's very important. Bill nearing that level 6, but importantly, just even in the mid lane as well. Shock is miles ahead, something needs to be done.
Yeah, the bottom lane CS has started to even up a bit. And actually, Bodhi and Raven in this top lane, Bodhi tends to be coming out on top of these skirmishes. Bill has made the long flight to get up here. It's been unseen, but Pooney is in the area. Actually, Pooney has just wandered away as Bodhi is completely committed on. No way he could turn that one around. Bill, no hesitation pulling the trigger there. And if Pooney comes in, he does not hit anything. It's a bit of a consolation prize. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, though, they finally use the kill lane pressure, threatening Ecotoxic. They connect a stun on Little Decoy as well, and a double kill. Nice one, Ecotoxic. So a gank for Bill in the top lane turns into a kill, but that was just a straight 2v2 win for Decode.
Of course, Decode knew that they could go that aggressive because they saw the enemy jungler on the other side of the map.
Let's take a look at how that skirmish played out, because that was just smooth play by threatening Ecotoxic.
And see, this is the moment when they know the enemy jungler is on the other side of the map, so they move in and actually just take out the kill there, and that's just KO going way too aggressive.
Yeah, Little Decoy backed off at the same moment KO went in, so just a tiny moment of miscommunication, but we come back straight to a fight as Shock gets caught out. Threaten and voting it deep. They actually find it. Poon's scooping up that kill. Raven on the wrong side of this one. Decode, they took a little bit of an advantage, a bit of a numbers advantage, and they're turning it into more now. One kill up. I don't know if they can quite go for the dragon.
Oh, they're too low.
He needs to get out alive. KO, he does not have an ultimate available. Here, Decode just need to back out safely because they are lower in health bars. Bill! Oh, is he too deep? He is! Bodhi! He committed, and he's gone for it now. Pooney throwing out damage over the side. They need to get one more back on the board if they want to make this even, or they just need to back off cleanly. Bodhi, he kind of gave up his life to let them get out cleanly, but it was at least a 1-for-1, because for a moment there, that was looking like King 5 might have been able to scoop in and get a whole lot.
And remember, even trades are actually in Decode's favor if they're looking for that late game, the 2-tank lineup, able to survive the lineup of squishies. The gold is actually now looking in Decode's favor. They managed to pick up a few kills, and the dragon, it might look to be taken here by King 5.
Well, see, I don't know. They can try and commit to it, but Decode, they can start to come on in, and they can make a fight happen, right? Dragon still deals damage. This King 5 squad is still squishy. Decode, they know that King 5 can't actually commit to a dragon safely yet.
We just saw the gold leads as well. Shock is sitting nice and pretty well above Shiv, and that's going to be key around those dragons, right? He's able to put out pick potential with the threat of when both teams are doing what I like to call the dragon dance, right? You're looking for position around the dragon. You get caught by a stray Syndra stun, you're done for.
Isn't that the dragon dance? Is that the one from Avatar?
No, that's the Pokemon move, right?
Yeah, it is. You're right. Well,
raises your attack
turns
speed.
out there's a lot of dragon dances across all gaming, but Pooney having a bit of a different dance. The mid lane as he flashes out. Shock forced to avoid the laser. Ooh, fancy feet or floating feet. Dodges the spear, but Shock has to back out of here, and this could be Decode's opportunity to take the dragon.
A big resource used, though, in that laser, so they're going to have to be careful. Know that it's not up. They're going to get the skull.
Hold on. Ecotoxic and Threaten. They need to back out of here. This is a 3 versus 2. Threaten, he throws up the door. Bill wants it, but he's taken a whole chunk of killing. The ultimate is there. Ecotoxic commits. Now it's a 2 versus 2. There can't be no collapse just yet, and no teleports to the top laner, so Threaten, he's trying to keep Ecotoxic alive. He commits to KO. They're just trying to get out alive.
They're still
the jump away from the ultimate from Ezreal, and now here's the response. They're collapsing from the mid lane, and they barely get out by the skin of their teeth. They might even try and make more from it. No, KO gets sped up. Pooney doesn't find anything. A solo kill did go over to Raven in the top lane, so we are going to go ahead and take a look at that, and it looks like it was just Bodhi getting out damaged.
Yeah, I mean, just have a look at that. Raven, he's putting out quite a lot of damage. Echo really does scale up. He's got the magic resist as well, and despite Bodhi's ultimate, resisting a whole lot of damage. It's just
not quite
whacking
enough.
them with the ice block.
Yeah, he can just take his time and get tanky, though. He doesn't actually need to be committing to these fights as it is, and that has given King 5 a bit of an opportunity to get some more vision around this dragon and also some damage on this turret. Actually, Bodhi, he's a long way away. Raven, he might even be able to get this, I think.
This is actually the first turret as well. He's going to get the initial demolition gold straight over to himself. 1, 2, 3. There he goes.
Yeah.
650 gold.
Nice pick up for him with the kill in pocket, with the CS lead, and now the initial demolition gold. He is unequivocally ahead in this lane. Already has a Spectre's Cowl. He's feeling pretty confident, pretty comfortable. He's going to be a split push threat now, and Decode, they have to start making something happen before King 5 get into that position.
Maokai is a great champion at holding split push threats, but at the same time, he hasn't built up his magic resist yet. He's only got a little bit of health, not tanky yet. Raven can take advantage of that. His teleport's almost up, so he can match that. He can actually win out in team fights here. But the duo lane, Ecotoxic and Threaten, moving pretty aggressively here.
This is the right move for Decode. They know that Ecotoxic and Threaten are scary stuff now, and Lucian is really starting to hit that mid-game power spike as well. plus the damage and map control that's been coming out of Puni means they can make these aggressive moves, start shoving up waves and setting up for dragons.
And even Puni now, he's building quite tanky as opposed to what we see Bill commonly do, just glass cannon junglers, right? He's got that magic resist to survive against the pick potential coming up from Shock. So that's now 3 characters that if they get caught out by Shock stun, should be able to survive at least a little bit of damage, killing out one of King 5's win conditions.
Yeah, speaking of Shock stun, he's going to need to land it really, really well here. Puni not spotted out. He's just actually going to try and get a bit of vision down for himself. Really nice map control. King 5 are actually moving in towards this dragon though, and they haven't quite been spotted out. Decode need to figure this one out pretty quick, Smart, and Raven might kind of be setting himself up as bait to pull Puni away from this dragon.
Yeah, the second that they see Puni, they're definitely going to pounce on that dragon, pun totally intended.
No, they're not going to go for it.
No, but they may be collapsing on Puni. No, he's actually sneaking off back into his own jungle. Both teams playing very carefully here.
I don't know what King 5 is setting up for, but it doesn't quite seem to be working. Might just be a siege here, though, as Raven is moving to collapse. And Bodhi, he is recalling, but will have a teleport. Ecotoxic currently alone in the bottom lane. Actually forced Decode into a bit of a tight spot here.
Definitely need to go down and help Ecotoxic, right? He's going to be able to take a lot of poke damage underneath that turret, but he is 3 kills
Oh, they're
for
committing
0.
a teleport. They're going to go in for that bottom lane now. Bodhi's moving into the bottom side. Oh, this is so smooth. Gets onto Little Decoy. He is surely a dead man as Ecotoxic goes forward for it. Puni, they can't quite get him with the follow-up. They're backing off. This is only a 2 versus 4, but they're backing off. They're going to go ahead and siege up. Maybe they're looking for a dragon instead here.
They've got the threat with the laser, right? It means that Lil Decoy can't go in, but they have to do something now. Raven is pushing in that top lane.
They committed a teleport, and actually Bodhi's backed off so that he can respond to the split push. I think they will still be able to get a dragon here, so that is good news. And it is a mountain drake, so good stuff for them with the siege they get out of the Lux. But they needed to find
it takes a bit of damage.
Actually, Shock, hold on, Bill. He's trying to go in still. He needs to respect the damage. Actually, it looks like Decode don't want to fight. I'm not sure why, because I feel they'd win it.
King 5, though, instead of looking to trade something for the dragon, lost out on everything, right? They didn't get any kills. In fact, they had to back off. They could have pressured the mid lane, at least in the end got a few more CS, but instead trying to contest around the dragon. Threaten, gonna get some free damage. That's it.
Yeah, it's really all for now. The for now being very crucial there. It is a gold lead in favor of King 5, but like we said, Decode, they're the ones with a really solid looking mid to late game, just because this is a squishy King 5 squad, and they can start to move as a unit and find picks in a couple of minutes here. I want to see them take a bit more advantage, though, of Ecotoxic's power spike.
Yeah, Ecotoxic definitely going to have a great power spike. He's picked up the Yomo's Ghost Blade. He's 3 for 0 right now, matching his lane opponent in CS. Can definitely play to those team fights, especially if anyone is caught out by that light binding.
Yeah, Bodhi is a key component of those team fights, though. He is the tankiness that his team needs. Maybe not the one it deserves. No, that was a terrible reference. That didn't work at all. Bodhi needs to be a bit careful here. As I was saying, Bodhi, he needs to be answering Raven's split push, but he also kind of needs to be ready to help his team fight. And without his teleport, it's really hard for him to do both.
Yeah, both top laners not actually having their teleport, but it does work in King 5's favor as they get to continue the laning phase rather than look for any more fights. Decode's still keeping up that good ward coverage that they're so well known for, but Bill, he's hanging out in the top lane.
They're going to just commit to it. He knows he's got the speed. They go on to Bodhi. He can't get back to the turret. Jumps on in towards Raven. There's the arcane smash. Bodhi, he's actually still trying to keep it going. Raven, he's taking a lot of turret, but he will be able to ult out alive as Bill cleans up Bodhi.
Oh, Bill, no way!
He's at the flash. Ooh, super low. And now Shock gets aggressed upon. They might just be able to collapse onto Bill. They actually need to, because otherwise Raven's going to take this turret. Puni, he's running there as fast as he can.
Yeah, Puni, it's a pretty big turret to take down, but he should be able to get there in time to save it. Raven, he's got no mana. Oh,
yeah, he's really overcommitted here, and he knows he's a dead man. The red buff is there for Puni. Raven, he can't escape from this one. He can't fight this one. Giving up his life there, that ended up being a very uneven trade for King 5.
And just dragging everything away over to the bottom side of the map. Ecotoxic and Threaten, using the knowledge of the enemy jungler, being on the other side of the map, using that power spike from Lucian with the Ghost Blade. But Bill, he's so quick. Okay, he's not coming down the bottom lane.
He looks like he's going to try and do that again, though, in another lane. And I think bottom lane is a smart one for that, because he can burst down Ecotoxic with the help of KO, and they need to do that. Because otherwise, eventually Threaten and Ecotoxic find another set of kills in this lane, or find a turret, and both are good news for Decode.
Definitely holding the threat down there as Lucian is in his prime right now.
I guess you could say they're threatening a kill.
Oh, you're so toxic. I don't know.
So,
Never mind. That didn't work at all. Sorry, buddy.
Like ecology, so it's like a poisonous river.
Maybe.
Bill is just Bill.
But-
Or is he money?
Maybe
Dollar bill, y'all.
the 10 gold bill. But in any case, 18 minutes. As I was saying before, you tried to make some puns. Ecotoxic's in his prime. He's a Lucian at 18 minutes. The mid-game, he's got his Ghost Blade. He's got a Brown to back him up. Even a Nidalee is looking great now. So they can look to threaten the... I said it again. It's like the word pops up more just because he's in the game.
Yeah. Well, in any case, Bill is going to take away at Scuttle Crab for his team. Top lane is not in Decode's favor. Let's be completely honest, it's not in Decode's favor, but the rest of the map potentially is. So the question is really, how do they make something happen?
Honestly, it's Bodhi just needs to hold and let the rest of his team apply pressure on other sides of the map. Bill can fly around and be Bill if they want to, but they've still got to tank and threaten. They can still continue to team fight with the presence from Shiv and the rest of his team, just with that long range pick potential.
Yeah, well, and as much as Bill can fly around and be Bill,
decoy.
Pooney can prowl around and be Pooney because he is making a lot of plays here. And, actually, teleport's being committed by Raven. There's going to be the ultimate out from KO, but it's not really going to make for anything because Decode can just back off. The teleport was committed fully as well, so this is all of King 5 here, and they need to start making something happen. Bill is going to be Bill as he moves up to the mid lane and trying to answer Shiv's push, or just... No, he has to answer Bodhi. Ooh.
Bodhi has to answer,
but Shiv has to answer Raven. He gets the stun, he flashes out, but the ult is there for Shock, and the collapse isn't there for Decode. They just let Raven do that. He even parked up through their side of the jungle. Poor Shiv.
Oh, but Ecotoxic.
Oh,
no, everything's going wrong.
Poor Ecotoxic. It really feels like Decode just had a bit of a lapse in their smoothness and coordination there. Shiv got caught out, Ecotoxic got abandoned, and Decode didn't get anything for it. In fact, they're also going to lose a turret and threaten if they're not careful.
Bodhi also had to recall as well, but this mid lane turret is going to open up the map for King 5 right now. They're looking incredibly strong after a somewhat questionable early phase, but like we saw in game 1, Decode got really ahead in the early game. That's not happening this time. King 5 are in a great position to turn this into a 2-0.
It's really hard to call it the early game anymore, though. And we said King 5 needed an early game snowball. This is in the mid game, and there are still a lot of strengths in Decode, even as this is words a about a 1.5, actually about 2.5. You know what? I'm just lying. It's about a. No, it is. It's a 2.5. It's a 2.5 gold lead. Math is so hard.
It's definitely not a 2.5.
No, it's a 3.5.
Why are you here?
I quit.
Gold lead for King 5, right? That's all we need to know. And that's a gold lead against a gold lead against a mid-game Lucian composition as well. They're looking great. They're snowballing with their squishy champions. Shock is looking not as snowball as he should be, but Threaten is being threatened.
But, oh Jesus, Ecotoxic is there, and Bill knows how quickly that stun can finish off and how squishy he is. Playing smartly there. Key items are up, though, for King 5. They do want to look to take this dragon. They might be able to look to take a fight, but it is kind of a knife-edge thing, right? I still feel like Decode is a strong team fight.
But Pooney on that Nidalee, great champion for stealing the dragon. The teleport is there for Bodhi, but he's still sitting down here.
Oh, he doesn't need to teleport if he's already there to fight. The dragon does go over the Lux Laser, does not steal it. In fact, it does not even damage anyone.
They actually timed that out really well. I like what Lil Decoy did. He predicted the steal and
actually
actually brought the
trying to find something. They didn't get the stun of the Shock, though, as he gets the stun back, and Raven's there! They threw the Q on Little Decoy, not the one they were after. And now it all goes pear-shaped for Decode. They are on the retreat, and Bodhi, he's not even tanky enough to tank out for his whole team. Forced to flash out to get away. He does get away, but this will probably be a turret again going down in favor of King 5.
They're barreling down the mid lane and back, still going!
Barreling even further. No Gragas even in this game, as Raven finding another kill for himself and his team. Pooney commits, but he's overcommitted. His wall barely gets out by the skin of his teeth. The turret is sure to fall here. Shiv throwing out the laser. Not
Raven.
Nearly got Raven. but bit of a shield was in there for him, and he does get out alive with the turret going down, and suddenly King 5 have put on the pressure.
5,000 gold lead. 1 kill ahead now, finally. But that's 4 turrets to no turrets for King 5 right now. The map is wide open for them. Decode's ward control isn't going to mean anything if they can't leave their side of the map right now. King 5, though, haven't dropped the crucial vision as they moved out of the enemy jungle, though.
One of the big strengths of Decode's team comp right now that should come into play is the Lux, right? She's nearly completed a few key items and has pick and wave clear and damage. If you get a catch on any one of these members, you can burst them down. But Shiv needs to be getting those catches. They can't afford to really wait any longer for this Lux to come online because King 5, if a little late, have started the snowball.
And speaking of snowball, the way to snowball a split-pushing lane is to pick up that ZZ Rock portal, threaten the Ecotoxic, trying to be sneaky there, but they're not in a position to kill anyone.
They know that they can't quite fight Raven yet.
But back to that ZZ Rock portal, right? Raven, this is the first in many games that I've actually seen him pick it up, including last game, right? He picked it up then too. It's a change in playstyle, right? And really looking to find out what works for the team, and it has been split-pushing Raven as well as the rest of their team fight macro play. So the fact that he's changing up his playstyle to play to his team's strengths really shows how much King 5 are progressing as a team as well.
Yeah, they've started to figure out some other options to how they play. And Decode, they need to kind of start working around that now. I mean, King 5 showing how diverse they can be in their playstyles here. Still, all credit to Decode, they are looking better as a team than they ever had before. They need to just make that one extra step now, though, if they want to turn this game back around in their favor.
And I mean, we can talk about how many squishies that King 5 has. Decode still have quite a lot, right? Because they've got a squishy coming out of the jungler in the form of Poon. Yeah, he's building a little bit tanky with that Abyssal Scepter, actually able to survive some of the pick damage, which he's taking right now.
Yeah,
but
just a little bit. He does have a heal.
It's still pretty scary, right? If any of those 3 middle champions, right, they get picked out by anyone, they're still under threat of dying. And look at that ZZ Rock portal. It just missed it. But it's sitting there putting pressure underneath that turret, and Decode can't answer it.
Yeah, they're really struggling to find an answer. The answer needs to be some picks and fights and numerical advantages. But King 5, to their credit, are playing cautiously. They're not letting that happen. And they actually know that they're squishy, right? They're not stupid. They know that they can just lose fights if they miss position. So they're not letting themselves get in that situation. They're playing slowly and patiently, playing the vision game, maybe getting picks when they can.
Look at that teleport that Bodhi was forced to use simply to the first tier 2 turret. Pony though. Pulse. I almost said Pulse because I was thinking about him in Worlds. He's casting once. But in any case,
that's
irrelevant.
great, Smite. Pony took a lot of damage there. That's what really happened. Nearly took too much. Little Decoy, though, taking some of his own. Oh, the sweep across. KO does find one, and Shiv not finding one means a numerical advantage now here for King 5. They're still balancing this one on the knife's edge. Like I said, they know they're squishy, and they are absolutely respecting the damage that can come out of Decode still. Ecotoxic dashing forward was answered. The retreat was there. They're going to wait for the minion wave.
Okay.
They need to just not even die because Raven is the one doing the work on the bottom side of the map. It is that split push. This is how they like to play now.
And look at how it's working out for them, looking to pick up turret number 5 against 0 turrets coming out from Decode Esports. King 5 are doing exactly what they need to do to win. This is their macro play that we've been talking about all game long, right? Ravens just come straight back into the lane, giving Bodhi no chance to take away that portal.
None at all. And in fact, Bodhi might even take a bit too much damage here. Has to avoid the parallel convergence, and that means he stays in the fight way longer than he wants to. He's starting to take damage. Raven is taking damage as well, though. He's going to try and dive. Bodhi knows it. He does go down. Raven took a lot, but not enough. Pooney, he's going to try and come in and sweep up a kill, but Raven, he can just retreat with the safety of Bill here.
He's got Bill, and that portal's actually going to turn out. They're turning it around.
Bill, they're trying to turn it back around. Ecotoxic is here, though. He's got damage. It's a culling to come out. Raven, he flashes out. Is it enough? It might just be because Shock is here. He go too far forward. Does not secure the kill, and Shock puts one back on the board for King 5. And it seems criminal. Decode, they just can't get a kill.
And victory slipping away from them. Pooney too low to stay in his own jungle against the enemy support as well. King 5 can now threaten them underneath the turret. I'm saying that word so many times, but in any case, KO in the mid lane, still pushing it down. He's got the poke damage to lower the health bars underneath the turret as well.
And King 5 just looking really, really solid here. I'll be honest though, we have seen far more dominant performances from King 5. So Pooney a little bit caught out. Oh, it's a really tough one for Decode to come back from here. And I really like that King 5 are still playing it cautiously. They're still giving respect to this team comp. And that's why Shock, whoo,
Are you kidding me, Shock?
barely living.
Are you actually freaking kidding me? He actually got out of that.
The thing is, if there had been a touch more damage, that would be a dead Shock.
Oh,
That's why they're giving Decode respect.
Another turret going down, but honestly, if Shiv wasn't tilted before, he's going to have a...
Whoa. Let's not speak to Shiv's mentality here.
He's going to have a will of steel to keep confident here.
Yeah,
but in any case...
Dragon picks up Mountain Drake going over to King 5, who already have so many turrets off this map. There's only Inhibitor and base turrets standing, so... I mean, it's still useful. It's a good pickup. It always is. But, you know, it's almost like the buff will go to waste because they can only use it on so many turrets.
Poor KO, not calculating the damage. Throwing out his mastery emote as well. Showing it off.
Take that, Scudder Crab.
6 turrets, 2 dragons though, one of them being a Mountain Drake as well. They're really looking great for the siege win condition that I was talking about before. They've got pick potential with Shock to continue. Now they can play around the Baron as well.
Yeah,
Mountain Drake letting them take it down quickly.
And they know that Decode cannot leave the space. Now look, King 5, they're still squishy. I feel like we've said that a lot. They can melt the Baron quickly.
Dragon too.
Yeah, that too. They can melt the Baron very, very quickly, but it can do a lot of damage to them. So if they do this in a situation where Decode can collapse, it could be dangerous. They need to make sure they don't put themselves into that spot. Clearing out the vision is the first step towards that, though.
And I feel like they know that they haven't done it completely all clear, so they're going to back off, push that mid lane down a little bit further, and honestly just keep Raven in the bottom lane, right? He's already doing work. Keep it going.
They can't take the Baron if Decode can pressure it, so they need to put Decode in a position where they can't leave the base, so they can't pressure that Baron, or at least not in time. And so, like you said, King 5, they're just going to go ahead and shove in waves for a while.
Yeah, just shoving waves. They've got the mobility to get out. The squishy champions usually come with a little bit of escape potential. Teleport cancelled.
No, cancelled. Yeah, they want to keep up that pressure because now they're going to draw Decode up to that top side.
cancelled.
Yeah, no, you're right. That would have been Bodhi cancelling. In any case, 4 members looking to this Baron. They can even just bait it out because Raven is still putting the pressure on, and the longer Decode sit in indecision, the worse it gets for them. And now here's the commitment from King 5 onto Shiv. They've drawn him out, but Shiv might have caught one in response. No, he doesn't. Now he's forced to back out. Pooney there to help with the retreat. A double stun lands. Shock. He can't go too far forward. They need to stay cautious. They need to stay respectful here. And they are, even as they balance it on a knife's edge.
Their positioning is so aggressive. Syndra, Ezreal should almost never be that far forward, but they can afford to do that this time. They've got the damage and kill potential. The spooky ghosts go out.
And it's aggressive, but it is really tight and really clean. And that is why they are able to continue doing this. They are, like I said, balancing it on a knife's edge, but they haven't yet gone too far over that edge.
I'd like to pick up on something that Bodhi built, just while we have a moment, right? He's picked up Righteous Glory, an aggressive item that you usually pick when you're quite ahead. Oh, hang on, Shock. No, don't do it, buddy.
Oh, he's going to do it because he's got Bill there. Fred might not be the right target, though. He is one of the tankier members, and he is going to be able to back out. And as much as King 5 are respecting Decode's fight, at the same time, they are maybe struggling to close out some of these kills themselves with how cautious they have to play. 10k gold in their favor. You feel like they should just be able to charge in to fight and win it, but this is the weakness of their team comp.
Yeah, they are pulling the trigger, though. They're going on that Baron. Vision, not quite there for Decode, but they've got to know what's going on. Bill cutting off escapes. Shock, he's a little low on mana, but he can still put out the threat of death. And this should be a free Baron.
This is just enough damage between Raven and KO that they're actually doing the Baron. Even though it's taken a while, between Bill and Shock, they've been able to zone off the rest of Decode. Now with the empowered recalls, they're just going to get out. This is what I said they needed to set up for. They had to do it in such a way that Decode couldn't get there.
And a nice, slow, methodical play coming out from King 5 right now. We've had a lot of action, but they've slowed it down. They've picked up the Baron. Now they're ready to start up that siege again. They've got Raven who can split push. Even without teleport, people do have to answer him. And having Baroned up minions in more than one lane is just invaluable.
Raven, as you could guess, straight to the top lane, keeping up the split push pressure, drawing out 4 members now as the rest of his team gets in position to begin the siege of the base. They are looking for inhibitor turrets, and this is the hardest thing for this King 5 lineup to do. They've got everything they could possibly hope for to do it, a 12k gold lead and a Baron buff, plus a Mountain Drake. But it is still hard.
The thing is, the way they want to do it is quite slowly, right? They want to wait until they get a stun with shock, but at the same time, that's what Decode want. They want to catch someone out with a snare from Lux. But they still hit the Karma Shields to survive through that. So King 5 still sitting in a good position. 3 lanes, Baroned up minions, they're ready to go.
Yeah, and Raven is really the way they can do it. Zoning off Bodhi already. Raven, the only one with any semblance of tankiness on this team. And they're sending him in. They've actually already done it.
Down.
They've cracked the turret open. They're going to get onto the inhibitor as well. And that's all Raven's work with the ZZ Rot, with the damage, the tankiness. Bodhi can't answer it alone, and there's so much pressure in the other lanes that the other members of Decode can't collapse. Now that they have to, they lose the mid inhibitor turret, and now they want to try and look for a fight. They have to commit. Bodhi is in. They've got the catch on the build, but they haven't got the damage to follow it up now with the laser already used. Trenton getting stunned up, Pooney getting killed, and it's all turning sour for Decode inside their own base. The shutdown is there on Raven at long last, but with 2 inhibitors, actually it's only 1 now, but the other one is exposed. Down, it's hard for them to turn it around even if they get the kills, and they still can't. 2 more are down. The health bars are low for King 5, but they still want to commit. They've got the inhibitor, they've got another minion wave arriving, and they still feel like they have the damage. KO and Little Decoy are playing this so dangerously, but they're doing it. They're holding on to the fight. They're holding on to the lead.
Look at how much they're weaving in and out, and as I say that, KO gets caught out.
But Shiv! What? Shiv and Threatened so low, but they can't quite close it out. It might be enough, though, because they can't get the health back in time. And just between Shock and Bill, they're still hammering on the Nexus. Bill, they're trying to close it on Threatened. Can they even do it? Yes, they can. The final shot is there. On a knife's edge, King 5, they took a high-risk team comp. They had to play so carefully the whole game long, and they did it with an absolutely masterful finesse.
But Decode Esports putting up one heck of a fight, more so in game 1, but honestly showing that even though they are still at the bottom of the table, 0 points, after so much improvement of what we've seen, I think we're going to see a whole lot of competition coming into the playoffs.
And they didn't even crumble in that second game, right? They still played, I would say, as well as they had in the first game. And that was the success story for them tonight. We said right at the top, they didn't even need to win. They just needed to do better, and they did. They have already exceeded our expectations. They are looking like a well-shaped team as they move towards playoffs, as they move towards the gauntlet. And the fact that they didn't lose morale after the first loss speaks volumes as to how far their mentality has come for them. This was the bottom team facing off against the top team, and even though King 5 won, I am super impressed with Decode tonight.
But moving on to King 5, right? With a 2-0 victory tonight, they're now in top place uncontested.
Absolutely.
They're what is it, 11 points right now?
Something pretty massive.
No team can touch that right now. They're going in definitely with the first seed. They're going to be super happy about that, and they've got the best chance of moving into the grand final at Motat.
Yeah, and of course the question for the rest of the week now becomes who is going to be taking the second seed, because like you said, no one can contest King 5 anymore for it, but they can give themselves the best lineup against the other teams. So with that in mind, I reckon we should take a look at how the rest of the week is going to be shaping up so that we can maybe get an idea of who needs to beat who to take that second seed.
Well, who beat who? It was King 5 tonight, beating out Decode Esports 2-0. Great fight by Decode. Tomorrow night, though, it's DNA taking on the Villains. Should be a great matchup. But on Wednesday,
this is the big one.
This is the big one. Our crossover feature matchup of the week on Sky Sport 3 with the players in the Hexadome here. Too Easy are taking on Tiger Eye.
And of course, Too Easy currently in second place. Tiger Eye tied for third with the Villains. The Villains going up against DNA. They want to look to take out a 2-0. Of course they do. And then that raises a lot of questions about whether Tiger Eye or Too Easy could 2-0 one another, because they would need to secure that to get a top 3 finish in these standings. We've got a really exciting week coming up, and we had a really exciting match tonight. Congratulations, of course, to King 5. Taking out the 2-0, securing the first place for themselves. And again, props and congratulations to Decode for really coming together. Do we have any final thoughts on this match tonight?
Honestly, great work from Decode. Even though it's a 2-0, I can never express this enough. 2-0 never tells the whole story. It might look like a stomp, but honestly, Decode put up one Heck of a fight. I love what they've done. And it's like, I don't know what kind of hyperbolic time chamber they've been in the last week, but it's worked. And they can continue to do it and go great into the playoffs.
Yeah, we saw King 5 getting far more dominant victories than that already, so Decode can move forward with a lot of confidence, and we move forward with a lot of confidence in them. But of course, that is going to be it for us tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have been Matt Pixie Carroll. Joining me has been Matt Smite Ross, and from all of us here at the broadcast team, have a wonderful night.
You used to think I was someone special till you knew my name. Open the doors to invade my castle. Don't you feel it strange? I'm going out on a limb where the clouds start to thin. Where in my heart like a stupid grin. Out on a limb. Out on a limb. Out on a limb. Out on a limb. Out on a limb.
The NZGC is a production of Let's Play Live and brought to you by Logitech G, Twitch, Playtech, Adina Hotel, and all our fantastic technology and media partners.